Hey everyone, how's it going? So you guys seem to really like the water starter comparison, and so today we're going to focus on grass. Why? Well, the same reason that Venusaur is going to be first, well, Bulbasaur for now. It's the order I did them in on stream, so it just feels like the most accurate way to present to you these challenges. So this was my 4th run overall, and it was coincidentally the run where I figured out how good Substitute could be. Hint, hint. For those of you who don't know how good Substitute is, check out the water starter comparison in FireRed LeafGreen, but yeah, the rules are the same as they were in the last one. No hidden power, no skips, no glitches, and we're only using the one Pokemon in battle, but we can evolve it. I know, scandalous. Which one of the grass starters do you think will be the best? Bulbasaur / Venusaur? Meganium? It's pronounced Meganium. I know, but Meganium sounds really cool. Or Sceptile? It's pronounced Sceptile. Okay, fine. That one sounds better. But anyway, we're starting with Venusaur. All right, I'll stop. I promise. It drives some people crazy for some reason. I don't know why. But interesting thing about Venusaur, if I had to ask you between Feraligatr, a like crocodile dragon thing, a giant swamp monster, and a big turtle, what was the fastest? If you said a kind of weird dinosaur plant thing, I mean, let's be real, none of them sound particularly fast, but yeah, Venusaur is the fastest Pokemon, only by 2 stat points, but it has 80 base speed, which should be nice. In terms of its moves, though, I mean, we'll have to see how the run goes, but they leave a little bit to be desired on first glance. Hopefully I'm wrong about that. There are certain things I like about the moveset, but I think the move diversity that especially Feraligatr had, I don't think Venusaur has that, but maybe it'll be enough. We'll see. But first, a big thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Fabletics. Right now, I'm showing off some awesome Fabletics products they have sent me. Right now, I'm showing off some awesome products Fabletics has sent me, such as the Training Day tee in black. I play a ton of ball hockey, and I want a shirt that both feels really comfortable, but also limits the amount of sweat and moisture. You'll notice I'll change outfits a few times during this segment. All these clothes are super comfortable. For example, this shirt, the navy blue, is named the 24/7 tee, and the name is apt. As someone who has to actually sit and edit or record voiceover for a long period of time, this is really comfortable. But it's not just the shirt that are comfy. This hat, which you can adjust to your head size, although it fit me perfectly out of the box. And the shorts I'm wearing are the 5-inch Infinite short, and they're lined, which is actually really comfortable and useful when I want to do something like running. I've tried 3 different outfits. They all look amazing. They all feel amazing. And Fabletics has a really exciting offer if you click my link down below. You can sign up to be a VIP and get 70 to 80% off your first order, which is really, really cool. And so if you click my link in the description or pinned comment and get 70 to 80% off if you sign up as a new VIP. All right, so first things first, before we even get to Brock, Bulbasaur does not get Vine Whip immediately, and we learned from the previous starters, sometimes gaining a little bit experience in the forest can be helpful. One thing to be mindful of in FireRed and LeafGreen, there is no bug where, where the bug Pokemon can't appear. There's some weird stuff going on, specifically in red and blue. It's actually fixed in yellow, but Bug Catcher Doug, see, you made it into one of my videos. Look at that. Anyway, he's pretty easy to defeat, and upon defeating him, we get Leech Seed, which is helpful, but even more helpful at level 10, which, because of the experience points we got, we will get once we defeat the mandatory Bug Catcher, who is known as Bug Catcher Sammy in this game. We will get Vine Whip, which is exactly what we need to defeat Brock. However, just before Brock, we're 10,000 light years away, says Camper Liam, so might as well defeat him with Vine Whip. No, we need experience points. It only takes, hopefully, 3 turns. Yay, that sand attack was a little scary. And we can skip a little bit ahead and battle Brock. Brock has a level 12 Geodude and 1-shot by Vine Whip, which is perfect. And then Onix should be a 2-shot tackle. It's actually a 1-shot. Look at that. And we are at almost level 14. Not bad. We're going to evolve to Ivysaur very, very soon. However, we may not have a great neutral move for Pokemon that resist grass for a while, and that could be a problem. For Bugcatcher, Colin, and these early trainers, Tackle is good enough. It's a 2-shot. But once we get to Rival 2, we may want something a little better than Tackle. And sadly, I don't think we're going to get anything. Now, for obvious reasons, FireRed and LeafGreen tend to be a lot harder than Red and Blue. But one instance where it is a little bit easier is this Rocket Grunt, because specifically when you're using an Ivysaur, which I do for minimum battles, Zubat no longer is super effective with Leech Life. Actually, it is double super effective with Leech Life. Still, Tackle is slow, but good enough. And of course, you notice my Bulbasaur has evolved into Ivysaur. That is really good. Now, one major advantage Ivysaur may have over the other two grass types is its poison typing. Because especially early on, I don't think it's going to happen here, but these Pokemon can at least... Oh, it disabled Tackle. That sucks. But at least in Red and Blue, they do have moves that could poison me, and that would be really not good. You can actually see that Vine Whip is probably going to do more damage, but between Leech Seed, Tackle, winning was never in question. Yeah, there's Smog. So not only is it only 1 times effective, but consider how many trainers in this game, especially Team Rocket members, like to use poison Pokemon and poison your Pokemon as a way to troll you. Ivysaur is going to have a really, well, I wouldn't say an easy time, but a much easier time than the other two grass starters. But maybe they'll have things that Ivysaur doesn't have that make those battles trivial. We're getting way ahead of ourselves. Let's one run at a time. After defeating all the trainers in her gym for experience points, we go to battle Misty. The Staryu does outspeed, and Water Pulse does okay damage. Misty heals, so I decide to heal with Leech Seed. That means I get a little bit of health back, but that's why I'm scared of Water Pulse. 20% chance to confuse. And so now, see? It's going to knock me out. I lost. Very frustrating, but that is what can happen. Now, I do have a Persimberry that I went and got just outside of Mount Moon, specifically for this occasion, because I was worried, and this is not my first time doing this, obviously. So now we don't have to worry about that confusion. Of course, this time it's not going to happen. It would be nice if Leech Seed... it missed. That sucks. Oh, thankfully Harden's pretty good. Would be nice if this could one-shot, but we're at 42 HP. Now, I probably want to put Starmie to sleep. It goes for Swift. I put it to sleep. I'm going to go for Leech Seed. I think that's the better play. How much does Vine Whip do? Oh, you know what? I didn't need it. Doesn't matter. In the end, a win is a win. Kind of a little bit more scary than you might think, but keep in mind, Vine Whip is not a very strong move. It's only 35 base power, making it just as powerful as Tackle. So it's very underwhelming compared to some other moves we potentially would have, especially for the Pokemon like some of the water Pokemon that can learn Mega Punch, although of course that move isn't super effective. Now we have to battle Rival 2, and again, I'm not going to constantly compare to Red and Blue, but this is important. Pidgeotto's Gust is Flying type. It's not Normal type. So I'm going to try to put it to sleep, and actually I outspeed it. This is huge, because as long as it stays asleep, even though it's going to... Oh, it woke up way too quick. All right, well... Oh, God, now I just missed with a Tackle. All right, well... All right, well, that went bad real quick. And I think you can see why I'm so nervous about Rival 2. I did battle a lot of extra trainers. I thought I accounted for this. So we put Pidgeotto to sleep, battle 2. Now we Leech Seeded it. And now Tackle, Leech Seed, Tackle, Leech Seed damage. Okay, we're good. We're good. Now what comes out next? Oh, we get Razor Leaf. That's right. That's huge. That's a 20 base power buff and an increased critical hit chance. All right, Charmander, 1 Ember is fine. You can see Razor Leaf, we actually get the crit. Remember, in Gen 3, it's not all wonky. It's just a normal critical hit chance. Abra we can take out with a single Razor Leaf, and then we take out Rattata with another critical hit Razor Leaf. So I want to be clear, when I say normal, what I mean is instead of 1 out of 16, it's 1 out of 8. Which, fun fact, in modern Pokemon, critical hits are actually 1 out of 24, but +1 stage moves like Razor Leaf are still 1 out of 8. Interesting. So now we're going to make our way up Nugget Bridge, and like we've been talking about, it's not going to be difficult. In fact, Razor Leaf can even one-shot a Caterpie, but it is going to be... Oh, actually, tackle one-shot a Weedle. But there are instances where it's not going to be a one-shot or a two-shot, and that will be a little bit annoying. However, by battling one extra trainer on Route 25, Camper Flint, and defeating just his Rattata, as well as his, I think it's a Nidoran male? No, it's an Ekans, which sucks because we have to use Razor Leaf and waste power points. One thing nice about Razor Leaf, although we just ran out of power points, it's got a lot of those, but we can get TM43 secret power. Finally, it's no body slam, but it's similar. Only 70 base power, which is far more balanced. Still actually a little powerful for the early game, but it is far more balanced, and now can pick up some berries, this Oran Berry just in case. And this was one trainer you may have been worried about last Haley. Well, now with secret power, Oddishes are one-shot. We're already at level 26, and don't forget, Venusaur evolves at level 32. So we're going to have it fairly soon. I'm going to guess by the time we get to Celadon. I guess we'll see. But now it's time to battle Rival 3. He leads with Pidgeotto, but now with secret power, this is just going to be a two-shot. Sand attack sucks, but we should be able to handle the rest of the Pokemon. Kadabra, I actually go for secret power. It's going to one-shot. Now Charmeleon, let's go secret power. Ember is fine. Secret power. Remember, being poison type means Kadabra actually has a good matchup against us. There's the miss. You should also know Razor Leaf is 95% accurate, not 100, which shouldn't matter, but you know will matter. Still, we got a victory against Rival 3. Really good to see. And with a Pokemon that has resistance to Surge's electric attacks, it just makes sense to battle Lieutenant Surge. Surge's first Pokemon is Voltorb. Razor Leaf does not one-shot, but Shockwave can't paralyze and doesn't do very much. We then miss with Razor Leaf. Hey, that was good foreshadowing, but we one-shot it on our next turn. Pikachu comes out. We don't miss with Razor Leaf. We knock it out. And Raichu should be fairly simple. Double Team sucks. Razor Leaf's going to be a three-shot. Shockwave. Razor Leaf, come on. Shockwave. Yay! So we are at level 30. Not quite Venusaur yet, but as I predicted, by the time we battle Giovanni 1 in Celadon, we have... Actually, you would have had a Venusaur even if it evolved at level 36 like the other two starters. Anyway, very easy to Razor Leaf the first two Pokemon. As for Kangaskhan, might take a couple Razor Leafs. Actually, it might take 3. And it does actually use Mega Punch, then Bite. But, oh, 4. Look at that. All right. Kangaskhan definitely a lot bulkier in special defense than in Generation 1. But wins a win there. And now I have to decide. I could theoretically go battle Erika. She does have Giga Drain, which is more powerful than Razor Leaf. And it restores HP. But in Generation 3, as well as 2... you should note it is still 60 base power, which is only marginally more powerful, and only 5 power points, which is horrific. Nonetheless, I'm already here, and after battling a couple trainers just for a little bit of insurance experience, we then battle Erika. We go for secret power, and Venusaur interestingly uses Stun Spore. I don't believe nowadays this can affect a grass Pokemon, but it can in this game. Then it goes for Acid, does not do very much. I knock it out. Tangela is next. It goes for Giga Drain, which is double resisted. I go for Razor Leaf. Tangela has really good physical defense, awful special defense, and Ingrain doesn't have a chance to do anything. Now it goes for Acid. I go for Secret Power. Acid, I'm paralyzed. I'm going to go for Razor Leaf to try and avoid the heal here. Was I threading the needle? No. Unfortunately, I put it right at like probably 4 or 5 HP and made this battle. Oh no, I'm out of power points. Come on. Oh, this is why I shouldn't have battled trainers? Yeah, Razor Leaf, let's go. All right, well, that was a bit of a mismanagement of power points, and yet we still won, which is good. Now the only battle we actually have to do is Rival 4, so let's go and do that. Rival 4 isn't quite as much of a pushover in this game. I'm going to still... Actually, I went for Razor Leaf accidentally, and Sand Attack, no. Well, we knock out Pidgeotto in 2 hits. Next comes out Execute. I go for Razor Leaf and miss. Hypnosis, I fall asleep. Now it goes for Reflect. And then Confusion. Confusion. Wow, I'm really snoozing. Confusion. I wake up. It misses. Confusion. I might have to reset. All right, well, oh, I'm asleep again. All right, well, this is a huge waste of time. I think I'm actually going to lose to Execute. Yep. Yep. Told you Rival 4 isn't quite as much of a joke. All right, well, let's battle again. All right, this time I would prefer no sand attack. Let's see if we get our wish. I might go for Sleep Powder here. All right, no, double no. Okay, well, good news. We can just reset. This is why in-game time is the best, because no, that shouldn't have happened. I don't accept that outcome. Sleep Powder this time puts it to sleep, but want to see something funny? Critted with Secret Power, so it didn't matter. All right, Sleep Powder wouldn't work on a grass Pokemon nowadays, but back then it would, and hey, worked on me, it works on it. Goes both ways. Anyway, Secret Power on Kadabra, which is only level 20. Charmeleon comes out. You can see just how many Pokemon Rival 4 has that have a good matchup against a grass Pokemon. It's kind of crazy. And then, well, I guess a grass poison Pokemon. And then Gyarados has Intimidate, which is a real problem. However, because it is water type, even though it's part flying, it won't come out that quickly. So we can use that to our advantage, but this battle was definitely a lot more difficult than you probably thought it would be. And the channelers are not going to be a complete walk in the park either. I mean, we're going to win. It's not really that much of a question, but we're going to have to use not very effective Razor Leaf, assuming I can navigate towards them. Also, I mean, I actually don't need to battle that channeler in this game. I just kind of wanted to see how it would go, and okay, never mind, Razor Leaf's fine. All right, well, we can skip ahead, and well, before we skip ahead, I guess we should talk about where we can go. The options we have are Koga or Rival Fivel. So neither of those are particularly great for a level 40 Venusaur. Thus, I battled some extra trainers before battling Koga. I'm at level 44. We can put Coughing to sleep, and now at level 44, we get one of our best moves, Growth. Growth powers up my special attack by 1. I almost said special. So it isn't as busted as it is in Generation 1. No badge boost glitch, but if we crit, we don't have to worry about it not working. No, not smoke screen. No, you suck, Coughing. But Razor Leaf will one-shot it. How much will it do to Muck? Okay, 2 shots fine. Oh God, minimize. Hey, we hit through a smoke screen and a minimize. Let's go. Coughing. All right, and then Wheezing will not use self-destruct if it's the last Pokemon in this game. And we almost one-shot it, which is pretty good. Hyper Potion. So the potions in this game, way better. Another Hyper Potion. And we're not missing, which is nice. And we had some pretty good luck with accuracy there. But this is why I needed the extra levels. I actually only need to get to level 41. But once we get to that point, we can, in theory, go for a Sleep Powder, Growth, Razor Leaf strat. The issue with Venusaur's moveset that I was talking about earlier on is it would be really nice if there was an additional special move we could use to play off of that, right? So we have, let's say, Sludge Bomb as a special poison move to go alongside, well, in Gen 4 it'd be Giga Drain. Sadly, Sludge Bomb is a physical move in Generation 3, and there is not a single special move that isn't a grass-type move that Venusaur can learn. And for that reason, the growth strategy is effective, but limited. It's limited because if a Pokemon really just resists grass, it may just be better to use a physical move or a different strategy. So this is definitely something we're going to have to deal with. But I don't want to pretend it's anything but a very good thing that we have growth. It just could be even better. All right, time to battle Rival Fivel. He has Pidgeot. I'm going to try to put it to sleep and then set up 6 growths. This is kind of like what we do in Gen 1, except not having to worry about leveling up or other nonsense. Speaking of other nonsense, Pidgeot has Whirlwind, which actually works in this game, and the Farfetch'd is the Pokemon I use both for Cut and for Fly, so I'm actually going to probably have to deposit that back in the PC. Oh. So I do that. I also battled the Fighting Dojo because I figured I'm going to need the experience points eventually. So I put it to sleep and then go Secret Power, Growth, because I really don't want it to wake up. So now, all right, it wakes up. Okay, this is fine. Wing Attack, Razor Leaf, we knock it out. Accuracy isn't lower, we have lots of health. Now against Execute, we put it to sleep. Remember, each sleep powder is only 75% accurate, and it's way less overpowered in Gen 1 since they can attack the turn they wake up. Gen 1's the only game where that isn't the case. Now Alakazam, this is why I want to level up. We outspeed it, which is really good. But here's Charizard, we put it to sleep. And now, if you're wondering how much we do, not bad considering it's double resisted. It does just about as much as Secret Power. So that's going to be a problem for future Gyros. Current Gyros, it stayed asleep and is low enough level that we're able to win. However, when it comes to Rival 6 and the champion, that may be difficult. But if you watch the water video, you may know I may have a trick up my sleeve, but I don't want to spoil anything, says the guy who mentioned it right at the beginning of the video. I don't want to spoil it again, in case you weren't listening. Honestly, I don't know why I show Giovanni 2 battles. They're almost never interesting, and I often just speed through them. This one I actually did lose a lot of health. It was a little closer than I thought it would be, but the growth strategy worked fine here too. And now we have the option between Sabrina and Blaine, which are both not great for Venusaur. We talked about the early game. The advantage of having a Venusaur was no poison, but the disadvantage of having a Venusaur is that psychic Pokemon are way, way, way better. Still, I think Blaine's going to be even worse, so let's just go battle Sabrina. Sabrina leads with Kadabra. The big question is, do we outspeed? We do, and Secret Power one-shots, which is great. And we level up. We're at 113 speed. Mr. Mime's Secret Power doesn't one-shot. It goes for Barrier, which is fine. Well, the Hyper Potion is bad. It's going to be a 3-shot here. I go for Razor Leaf, and then it goes for Psybeam. Another Hyper Potion. All right, well, I guess I should have just gone for double Razor Leaf. Fine. Okay, that's 2. Now Alakazam comes out. I go for Secret Power. It goes for Calm Mind. And does it? No more potions. They were all used. And so Venomoth comes out. It does have Psybeam, but it's one of my favorite Pokemon, but not very good. It's a cool Pokemon. It's so cool. I call it Backup Kadabra, but it's like poor man's Backup Kadabra. Anyway, we were able to beat it pretty quickly, and that went much, much better than it had any right to. Okay, cool. So now we can go and fly to Pallet and head to Cinnabar, and we'll pick things back up when we battle Blaine. All right, well, here's the big deal with Blaine. He has a Growlithe and Arcanine, both of whom have Intimidate, and Growlithe comes out first. So my attack is cut. I try to put it to sleep. It goes for Fire Blast. Now I'm going to try and set up some growths. However, I don't know. Oh, it wakes up. Fire Blast misses. Thankfully, it has a 15% chance to miss. So that's not nothing. All right, after 5, maybe we want to attack. Nah, gotta see how it does with all 6. And there it is. Roar. Just like Rival Fivel. All right, well, I'm gonna go deposit my Pokemon, BRB. I hate that this is something I now have to think about. Anyway, all right, hopefully we put it to sleep right away. Great. So that's 1 turn of sleep. Now, oh, it woke up. Nope, not 1 turn of sleep. I anticipated 1 turn and I got nothing. And unfortunately, that did more than half, and yeah. All right, well, that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing at all, because we need to be able to set up. I still don't know if we do enough damage to this thing. All right, put it to sleep. 1 growth, 2 growths. Do they all? All right, Fire Blast. All right, that one didn't do as much. It goes to sleep. 3 growths. It's asleep. 4 growths. Wakes up. All right. Yeah, okay. We got it. All right. Let's see. I want to see how much 6 growth does. It's important science. Unfortunately, we're not going to. It wakes up and goes for takedown. All right. Well, eventually I get a run where I get burned and I figure out that at 4 growth, we one-shot Growlithe. That really isn't the big deal. I mean, I also have an Oranberry for a little bit of extra health. Then I miss against Ponyta, so yay. If I sound annoyed, that's because this battle was so obnoxious. I got burned so many more times than statistically I should have, and it woke up so quickly each time. You can see I get off 4 growths, I get burned again, which is terrible because that means I don't think I even have enough HP, even if they don't attack me. I still have Oranberry. I don't have a Rostberry on me. I should have. I didn't even think about that. Turns out with 4, we one-shot everything except, unfortunately, not Arcanine. We need 5. So that's better than 6, but we only had 4 that time. After literally 10 minutes of getting some of the worst luck I've ever gotten in my life, including several Razor Leaf misses, Remember I said it wouldn't be a problem? Yeah, happened several times. Also Sleep Powder misses, which, to be fair, those at least are somewhat predictable. But yeah, finally, I get up to 5 growths. Razor Leaf hits the first time, but then guess what? Remember I said it wasn't going to miss? Yeah, it misses to Ponyta, but Ponyta doesn't actually do enough to knock me out. We knock out Rapidash, and we knock out Arcanine. I think there were about 3 attempts where Razor Leaf missed to either Rapidash or Arcanine. That was brutal. That was brutal, and it shouldn't have been, but it was. Anywho, after that really fun experience, we get to go battle Giovanni. This shouldn't be too bad. All right, his first Pokemon is Rhyhorn. I should still put it to sleep because it can be annoying, but I don't. And there it is, Scary Face. That's annoying. Another Scary Face. So now I don't outspeed anything. I go for Razor Leaf. You can see I'm being way too cocky. Although that Earthquake did very little, but now is where I'm worried because, yeah, Nidoqueen and Nidoking aren't complete pushovers. They both do have Earthquake. And, oh, I actually think we win. Maybe this was, don't forget, it's not even a Rhydon, it's a Rhyhorn. Well, I guess I had every reason to be overly cocky. Now, Synthesis would be a great move, like a truly great move to pair with Sleep Powder and Growth. Sadly, Venusaur has a bit of 4 move syndrome going on. It has a limited move pool, and if we could use more than the 4, there are combinations of moves that are really, really powerful. Of course, other Pokemon even more powerful. But yeah, just no room for Synthesis. But what if I told you, to this point, I was fairly confident in how Venusaur would do? And what if I also told you that it took me in real time about an hour and a half to get to this point of the run? There are 6 battles left. I want you to guess how long it took me to finish the run. We're at an hour and 30 of real time. How long do you think the run went? Because, well, you'll figure it out as you see the rest of the video. Rival 6 time. So, Rival 6, we're gonna go for Sleep Powder, and it misses. Now we know how much Wing Attack does. Okay, well, that's great. So, we can't get too many misses. That's fine. Of course it's fine. I mean, we are going for a bit of a luck-based strategy. 75% accuracy is not great, and variable sleep turns are annoying. So, 1, 2, okay, 3 growth, not bad. 4 growth, should we be greedy? Yeah, let's be a little greedy. Wing Attack. All right, let's see how much we do. With 4 growth, it only does about half. So we can knock out Pidgeot, but that wasn't great. Next comes out Alakazam, and we do one-shot it and outspeed it, which is important. But now out comes Charizard. We can put it to sleep. Razor Leaf does about a quarter, but it wakes up in Flamethrower. And that is exactly what I was worried about. That's what I was worried about because I don't really have... I mean, I have the rare candies I can use here, and maybe I should because I really don't have a backup strategy. Obviously, the more boosts I get to special attack, and with plus 10 in my level, that should be good. But yeah, I mean, Charizard's going to be tough. All right, well, second attempt now at level 63. So we don't miss Sleep Powder. Excellent. 1 growth, stays asleep. 2 growth, stays asleep. Last time we got 4, so we get 4 again. And am I going to try to put it back to sleep? Nope, just go for Razor Leaf. Still doesn't one-shot it. But it's probably going to heal here. No, it doesn't heal. Didn't know that. So we got a 5th. You know what? Might as well get 6 growths. We're going to tank this. Oh, it has Quick Attack. Right. That was my bad. I should have known that. All right, Battle 3 versus Rival 6. So let's just go put it to sleep. We are at level 63, as you can see. And we get 1, 2, stays asleep. If we got 6... All right, this time we only get 3. Feather Dance is actually perfect. And we put Pidgeot to sleep. So we have another one. All right, Wing Attack. I'm just going to go for growth here. All right, I think we should... Nah, frick it. Let's just go. 56 is fine. We one-shot Pidgeot. now how much do we do to... oh, wait, it's Alakazam. Forgot about that. We know Alakazam is trivial. And now Charizard, we put it to sleep. And now Razor Leaf. Ooh, okay. Okay. This works. Rhyhorn's coming out. There's not much left. I think Execute could be a problem, but we should one-shot it. All right, nice. And then the final Pokemon is Gyarados. Intimidate's not a problem. We're not even using physical attacks anymore. I'll be honest, that was a lot easier than I thought it would be. You should also note, and I should have brought this up, when we are at 1/3 or less of our health, which I didn't even realize I was, we get a 50% boost on our move space power. And that's huge. I didn't even realize that was the case, so that may have made Charizard a little easier. I also wasn't trying to get within Overgrow range, but it worked kind of perfectly there. But what if I told you we still have 2 more hours of footage left? Because that's true. We have 2 more hours of footage left. And I mean, you can imagine why this is going to be so difficult. Actually, I can just show you. Lorelei is way better against grass Pokemon in this game. She has actual ice moves, so we have to put Dugong to sleep and respect its ice moves. I set up a bunch of growths, and you may notice something missing. That will come up, trust me. Ice Beam does decent damage to me, but thankfully, she has the exact same team she has in Red and Blue, and so all her Pokemon, save for Jinx, are still water types. So while in theory, she is way better against grass Pokemon, in practice, so long as Dugong cooperates and stays asleep, we should be fine. Now, I know we're going to lose to her a bunch of times because we're not going to get Dugong to sleep, but that's fine. Bruno, I don't even know I'm going to show this. Bruno is going to be very, very, very easy. And it's at this point, I think it might be a good idea because we're not really using Secret Power anymore to just use Giga Drain as a way to restore HP. So against Onix, oh yeah, it has Rock Tomb. I'm going to try to put it to sleep because I don't want to be slow. That would be bad. But yeah, I have 2 different grass moves. That's how desperate things are for Venusaur's move pool. But we actually can sweep at this point. Oh, well, not if we miss. But hey, look at this. Giga Drain. Beautiful. And then we Razor Leaf. And okay. That wasn't, as you'd expect, difficult. Agatha, however, she's not quite as trolly as she is in Red and Blue, but she definitely has far, far better moves. She is still trolly, so I'm going to equip the Lumberry, which heals any status, and let's see how this goes. Recall, all her Pokemon are poison types, so they resist my grass moves. So we have to put it to sleep, good, but it wakes up right away, confuses me. Lumberry does its job, put it back to sleep, 2 growth, 3 growth, stays asleep. All right, let's go for 4. Wakes up, Shadow Punch. All right, let's put it back to sleep. No, not double team. All right, this time it falls asleep. Let's try and get all 6 up. See what we're dealing with here. Don't forget there is a Golbat. Oh no, I went for 7. Okay, we're fine. No, it misses. No, double team. Come on, come on. Hit, hit, hit. Yay. Oh, it doesn't knock it out. No, and it's got a lot of... Yay. Okay, it's a range. I was going to say it has a lot of evasion. Now Golbat, I go for Razor Leaf. It's a 2-shot. Air Cutter thankfully doesn't crit. This is good. This is good. We should have this at this point. I'm actually going to go Giga Drain, get all my health back. Well, almost all of it from Haunter. Now out comes the final Gengar. This one, I believe, is similar to her, her classic Agatha annoying set. Thankfully, Hypnosis missed there. That's partially why I have the Lumberry. And Arbok, don't have to worry about lowering... Oh, wow. Have to worry about crits. But don't have to worry about it lowering our attack. And we can knock it out, actually, with Giga Drain. The Overgrow boost, inadvertent, but helpful. All right. Lance in Red and Blue would be a joke because of the way the AI is just messed up. But we're not in Red and Blue, obviously. The AI here is not messed up. So all I can do is... I think I'm going to give it a Lumberry just in case it tries to paralyze me. Maybe I should have given it a Citrus. Well, let's see how this goes. This could be interesting. Lance is definitely not a great matchup, especially for the moveset I have. Gyarados is going to lower my attack. Going to put it to sleep as always. And hopefully get 6 growth. But it wakes up right away, goes for Bite. Now with Giga Drain, I don't have to worry as much about this little chip damage. Some Dragon Rage. Don't have to worry, another Dragon Rage, because I can theoretically restore it all. This is now 3 growths, 4 growths, 5 growths, and it wakes up Dragon Rage. All right, I'm just going to go Giga Drain and knock it out. 165. Next is Aerodactyl. I'm just going to go Giga Drain, actually outspeed it. And it was a one-shot, which is good. Dragonite I'm scared of. I put it to sleep, and I'm going to go for the 6th growth. Wakes up, Wing Attack. Okay. I mean, crit mattered, but like, yikes. You never like to see your Pokemon one-shot by a base 60 power Wing Attack. I do make it right back to Lance on my next attempt. That's a really good sign. It's not necessarily a pattern yet, but that's good. And we're just going to speed through this because essentially we need the exact same thing to happen. We need Gyarados to cooperate. We need to get as many growths as possible for Dragonite. Unfortunately, we still only get 5 growths up, which is still good. And we get the exact same result going to Dragonite. This time Sleep Powder misses and it goes for Safeguard, so I cannot use a status move. Razor Leaf does nothing. Citrus Berry activates, which I use, but Razor Leaf did nothing. Giga Drain, I mean, does very much nothing too. I'm in Overgrow, so it does more now, but... Oh, wait, Outrage. Hey, that really helped. Oh, that was a mistake. Oh, goodness. That was not supposed to happen. It was supposed to knock me out. The AI will just... Okay, let's just win the battle first. Okay, so just to explain what's going on here. My understanding is that if multiple moves can KO you, they'll just select one at random, I guess. And since both Wing Attack and Outrage had the chance to KO me, even though Wing Attack was guaranteed and Outrage wasn't, for whatever reason, the AI picked Outrage. I don't believe, and I don't know this for a fact, that the Gen 3 AI can detect when it is a 100% chance. I think just if there is a chance, certain logic activates, but that was absurdly lucky. Like, absurdly lucky. And obviously, you know I'm not going to beat the champion here, because I just went on and on about how there were 2 hours more. Unless I was a lying liar who lyingly lies. Lyingly. Let's see. Alright, so I go for Sleep Powder, stays asleep. Growth 1. Wakes up. Oh no, Sand Attack. And then Sand Attack. Oh no, the run's over. Sand Attack. However, will we stop that Sand Attack? I don't know, J-Rose. What could you possibly use? Oh no, more Sand Attacks. And now Aerial Ace, well, you might have to start attacking it. Oh, okay, no, don't worry about it. Oh, that's Sand Attack. Hey, Giga Drain actually hit. Good job. But no more Aerial Ace. Gosh. Giga Drain's now missing too. I'm at 6 HP. But we make it past Pidgeot. Oh, goodness. Now Alakazam comes out, and hey, we hit against that too, and we're at 111. Things are looking so good. I wonder if we're going to win this battle. Oh, we actually put it to sleep. That's crazy. Wow, we're starting to hit. Wait. This is actually really good. Oh, there's the miss. And there's Fire Blast. Okay, so I'm going to just cut the garbage here. It took me exceedingly long to figure out the Substitute was a really good strategy. And it was repeated losses to the champion for the exact reason you just saw, which is why I realized when I went through Venusaur's limited moveset, because it's so limited, I really scoured and I realized that Substitute was a move that I could learn before the post-game. A lot of the tutorable moves like Swords Dance and Body Slam are only post-game, but that is not the case for Substitute. However, if you're under the very wrong impression that Substitute made the Elite Four free, let me present to you me losing to various trainers with the Substitute strategy, because, and this is important, there is an important drawback to Substitute. I don't lose to Lorelei, by the way. I just needed footage while I talked. So against Agatha, Substitute is amazing, because Gengar, what it likes to do is go for Double Team, which doesn't break my Substitute, and it likes to status me. So being minus Substitute is perfect. The problem with the Substitute is that it takes away a ton of health each time I use it, And if Sleep Powder does happen to miss, that is health I ordinarily wouldn't be losing, and I don't have any other move now but Razor Leaf. Now, we might be able to change that to Giga Drain. I don't know if I have enough power points even, and that's the difficulty. Giga Drain would be hard to use because of power points. I might be able to come up with a strategy, but right now, in some ways, we've reduced the luck we need to win, but in other ways, we've increased it. All right, well, I do make it back to Lance, and I actually taught Giga Drain for Lance specifically. I still used Razor Leaf up to this point. And now, after we go for Sleep Powder, I can go for Substitute, because Gyarados' Bite and Dragon Rage don't do enough to one-shot the Substitute. Thankfully, with Giga Drain, we can recover the health from that bad Sleep Powder miss, and I may be able to get up all 6 growths. One problem, though, with the strategy of using Giga Drain is I can no longer reliably use Overgrow strats, because although I'm in Overgrow right now, once I use Giga Drain, I will gain all the HP back and I won't be in it anymore. And that's unfortunate because we could probably... Oh, it outsped me? That has literally never happened. How did that happen? Anyway, we put Dragonite to sleep and we go for Substitute because... Oh, Safeguard's perfect. I go for Giga Drain, hoping it goes for Outrage. Of course, it's going to go for Wing Attack. But the Substitute costs less HP than getting hit by a Wing Attack. Now I'm waiting for Safeguard to wear off, / getting into Overgrow range. I have a Lepa Berry, but that's actually not for Substitute. That's for Giga Drain. And yeah, so the strat kind of failed here. I mean, maybe I'll have enough power points and it won't matter, but yeah, the strat was to... Alright, I might be able to win. Maybe. Ah, so close. So close. Oh, wait! Another Outrage! I can't believe this happened twice! Alright, wait. Oh, yeah, we one-shot. Wait. No, wait. Is this Overgrow? Do we still one-shot? Yeah, we do. So dumb. I can't believe that happened twice. That's nuts. Anyway, I do have a max elixir here, which I desperately need, and a full restore. And you can see the Lepa Berries. I also got a couple more rare candies out in the field when I was trying to figure out what the heck to do. We're going to have to equip Lepa Berry, meaning no Citrus Berry, because very scared about running out of power points. But now that we can go behind a Substitute, I am way less scared of Pidgeot. So, now we're going to go Sleep Powder on Pidgeot. It stays asleep. Now it can't Sand Attack me anymore. So we go for Growth. 3 growths. Wakes up Feather Dance. Growth. Aerial Ace is fine. Do I want to try Substitute? All right, let's see what it does. Aerial Ace is fine. Let's go Sleep Powder. No. It's the worst case scenario. Well, okay, well, that sucked. It makes up for the Outrage thing, but I actually didn't make it back to Lance in my next attempt. I misclicked against Lorelei and lost, so that can happen. But I'm going to speed through because this is kind of how Lance is supposed to go. The big difference is when we get to Dragonite, so we're just going to go nice and fast until we get here to Dragonite. Now we put it to sleep, and we're behind a Substitute, although we got a crit. That's actually a little lucky. I wanted to show you guys how the strategy is supposed to work, but in the end, whatever. I just can't stop getting lucky against Lance. It's weird. There's been a lot of battles, like the battles against Blaine, that more than made up for it, but still, it's kind of funny. All right, we should have this. We just need to be behind a Substitute when it uses Sand Attack. Please. All right, please hit. Great. Okay, we should win. Substitute. I might want to get rid of this thing really quickly. I wonder if that's the play. 3, it wakes up Aerial Ace. Darn it. I gotta put it to sleep. Okay, that's sick. I think we've got this now. Substitute. All right, let's go Growth. Okay, we got it. No, Greed. Okay, we got all 6. It woke up Sandtech. All right, we just won. All right, well, no, it didn't one-shot. Holy mackerel. Oh, that's fine. It's going to heal here. I do have the Lepa Berry, so I'm not worried about power points. They are a limited supply. I don't know why people say they respawn. To my understanding, they do not. I do not see them respawn. So I have to be careful with them, but I should be fine. Maybe I'm wrong. I have not seen them ever respawn, so. Anyway, we knock out Alakazam. Now out comes Charizard. We put it to sleep. And Giga Drain, okay, it's doing a quarter. It wakes up, Fire Blast. That's not good. God, 3 for 3. Let's go. All right, Substitute, Giga Drain. Ooh, it could be a 3-shot. No, Citrus Berry. And I think it has to, yeah, it's going to heal. That's unfortunate, but don't forget, it only has 5 power points of Fire Blast. We could theoretically stall it out. I also put it to sleep. That was definitely more risky than just going for Substitute. And it is staying asleep. Lepa Berry, I have my Giga Drains back. And all right, a 3-shot. I think that's the run. I think that's it. Giga Drain against Executor almost one-shots it. Sleep Powder can't affect me behind a Substitute. And we go for Giga Drain. Okay. That's good. All right. Yeah. Yeah, this is going to work. Yeah, it's just right on in Gyarados. I think you can see why this specific run was the one that made me realize, oh yeah, I should go back and redo the water ones with Substitute, which I didn't actually do until a little bit later, but Sand Attack and Feather Dance, so devastating, just eliminating that, especially when you have a limited moveset, and we only used Giga Drain. Kind of crazy to think what we used in the end. But how is Venusaur going to do relative to the water starters? Level 69, nice but a little high, 438. It's not surprising considering how slow Venusaur was at several sections. It did have an easy-ish time, but we did have to level it up quite a bit, and it still wasn't completely free. Even if we were to knock off 5 or 10 minutes if we're being generous, which I think is ridiculous, because I was sort of figuring out the Substitute strategy, because I don't think it cost that much in-game time to get a couple rare candies. Regardless, it still would be, thus far, the worst Pokemon. But that's not really the question this video is asking. The question this video is asking is it going to be the best grass Pokemon? Well, for that, we're gonna have to do 2 more runs. And the next run I decided to do was Sceptile, meaning we are starting with Trico. And right off the hop, something kind of bad happens. And you might wonder, what the heck bad can happen? It's the first battle. There's no way you're gonna lose this battle. This is like the battle you're supposed to win, right? Well, Trico doesn't have the greatest defenses, and so somewhat shockingly, I lost. That's not good. And if you look at Sceptile's stats, you can see, even when it's fully evolved, it is not the bulkiest Pokemon, but it is by far the fastest one we've used to this point. That 80 base speed by Venusaur has just been blown out of the water. Additionally, its 105 special attack, while not as good as Swampert's attack, is as good as Feraligator's, but since it's in special attack, we can take advantage of our same type moves. So what are those moves going to be? Well, if you look up the level up moves, there's some interesting stuff there. No Razor Leaf though, that's a little annoying, but there's an even better move in my opinion. And Sceptile does have, I believe, the biggest move pool of any Pokemon we've used thus far. The question I have is how useful those moves are going to be, since unlike Venusaur that had really good status moves, that's not a thing Sceptile really does. And it was a huge part of Venusaur's game. So the question here is, does the increase in speed and special attack, albeit a marginal increase in special attack over Venusaur, will that be something that pushes it over the top, or will its lack of status moves really hurt it? Because the water Pokemon didn't need it. Let's see. Now, another not good sign is we're not showing Brock, we're showing Bugcatcher Sammy, and I think you know why. We've already talked about this earlier in the video, but even after a Leer, Pound isn't that good, and Poison Sting, albeit with a crit, does a ton of damage. This is not going to be easy. There are quite a few poison Pokemon, and while having a move like Pound helps, we actually lose a second time. It takes us 3 times to beat the first Bugcatcher. And yes, I guess I could have battled other trainers, but there really weren't any great candidates. They all have Poison Sting Pokemon, or Metapod slash Kakuna, which take a very long time for my Trico to knock out. Also, one really good change that I love about FireRed and LeafGreen, you can get repels right in the first Pokemon Mart, meaning I don't need to worry about RNG in Mount Moon with terrible encounters. Really good, I like that. After beating the junior trainer, I can battle Brock, and it is going to take just one Absorb to knock out Geodude. This is very similar to what you saw. Now I have Quick Attack, which is, I mean, pretty much the same thing as Pound, but, oh, one-shots, but I think I got crits in both battles. So Rock Tomb is interesting. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Sceptile can even theoretically use that move. Maybe I'm wrong. I think it can, though. Yeah, it can. I just double-checked. So I don't know if we're going to use that. You know what? Maybe we should use that now, actually. Because now, look at this. I mean, oh, it's a two-shot. And because of Shield Dust, it doesn't lower speed. But that's going to be quicker than Quick Attack. It's doing way more. And considering, yeah, I'm poisoned. Yeah, this seems like actually a really good idea. It's not going to be a move that's super helpful. Well, actually, theoretically, it could be really good against Charizard. So hopefully I don't regret teaching it now, but I think this is a good move. It's going to save me a ton of time. And thankfully, I have Antidote for that poison. And with those better normal moves than Bulbasaur had, Trico, well, now Grovyle, makes it much quicker to Misty. Unfortunately, though, we're going to have to rely on Bullet Seed. This is the TM in place of where Water Gun is in Mount Moon. Not a very useful move, only base 10 power per hit, but it can be up to 50 base power. Unfortunately, we get a low roll against Staryu, but we get the high roll against Starmie and hit it 5 times. And then Starmie heals, I go for Absorb, it goes for Swift, and then Bullet Seed does good damage, it goes for Swift, and then with Overgrow, Absorb is able to knock it out. Probably should have gone for Bullet Seed there. In modern Pokemon, it is a physical move, and it is base 25 power, so way, way, way better nowadays, but still decently useful versus Misty. And once again, my decision to teach Rock Tomb should come in handy as I go to grab the rare candy in the house there. A little bit more annoying to get in this game, but not too big a deal. Just gonna save right here, because Rock Tomb has a 20% chance to miss, but it should help immensely versus Pidgeotto. I mean, it's effectively base 100 power with the super effective, and it's gonna two-shot. Gust is fine. I'm going to go for Pursuit, and it's a good special move. It's able to knock it out. Now I'm going to go for Rock Tomb. It one-shots. I don't know if the crit mattered, but I don't really care. And yeah, now I go for Pursuit. Grovyle has much better special attack than physical attack, so it makes sense. And after I get hit by Quick Attack, I go Bullet Seed. I'm in Overgrow now, which is fine. I would have knocked it out anyway, and we can move on. Grovyle clearly has a much better moveset for this point of the game than Ivysaur did. However, is that going to continue? I really like Sceptile, but it has a bad reputation of being kind of a not great late game Pokemon. Let's see if we can change that reputation in this video. Grovyle absolutely breezes through Nugget Bridge and routes 24 and 25, so we're on the SSN, and unfortunately there's the miss and then a couple sand attacks, so likely we're gonna have to reset. Rock Tomb, though, isn't a one-shot either. I have Secret Power. You guys remember from a few minutes ago how we get that. And yeah, I just let myself lose, but that was an expected result. Oh no! I didn't save at the SSN. Oh, that's annoying. This happens every few runs and it's always the worst, but good news for the YouTube viewer, I can just skip ahead. By the way, I messed up one more, maybe 2 more times, and forgetting to save, which I was just, I don't know what was going on with past J-Rose there, but goodness. Took 12 minutes to get back here, but this time Rock Tomb hits. Hopefully no sand attack. Of course we get it, that's fine. We're gonna go Secret Power here, and then Charmeleon, I go for Rock Tomb. Crit again. We're getting pretty lucky with those crits. Eradicate, I had taught Brick Break, which we get in place of where Body Slam is in red and blue, but I didn't teach it this time for some reason. Didn't really need it. And then against Kadabra, oh gosh, Kinesis would have been bad. I do hit with the second Secret Power, and now we get our best move, Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade is just objectively a better Razor Leaf. Now with all those crits to Charmeleon, it is worth my while to do this one more time just to see how much damage we do. This time I delete Absorb for Brick Break. Absorb is just so weak, and we're going to get Giga Drain really soon. So our moveset going forward should be Secret Power, Brick Break, Rock Tomb, and Leaf Blade. If Lieutenant Surge had a Magnemite, that would be really bad, but he doesn't. So we should be fine. Just like we are in this second Rival, or third, but second straight victory against Rival 3. All right, so we're going to make it to Surge. We're at only level 29, one of the lower levels, because Grovyle has been absolutely crushing it. Unfortunately, Pikachu's static does affect me. It's a 30% chance, and then Double Team is fine. Quick Attack, we get a miss. Expected that. Paralysis. All right, fine. Perfect. And now we're at level 30. You can see how much special attack we have. Very, very strong right now. The concern I have is when we start getting into the bad matchup territory, but this time around, Alakazam won't be one of those bad matchup Pokemon. That does mean Charizard's probably going to come out earlier when we battle Rival 5 and Rival 6, but we're a little bit a ways away from that. But we're going to get closer. I have nothing to say until we get to Giovanni 1. Grovyle, now as we battle Giovanni 1, you will see we have Sceptile, is just been fantastic. And it Leaf Blades Onix, no problem. Leaf Blades Rhyhorn, no problem there. I wish it was base 90 power Leaf Blade, but Kangaskhan, Fake Out is fine, and we go Leaf Blade. I was kind of curious how much Brick Break would do, and it does a bit more. I thought with the better special attack and the same type boost, perhaps I should use Leaf Blade, but no. Brick Break was better, and it seems like we have a really, really solid moveset. Unfortunately, we're going to have to make a change, but a very good one. You can get the Aerial Ace TM just before Rock Tunnel, and it is super effective against grass Pokemon. Unfortunately, I actually messed up. I battled too many trainers and ran out. So I may actually lose here. And because I need more power points and need to go back to the Pokemon Center, I decide just to go and wait. I'll one-shot Erika soon anyway. So for now, let's just go battle Rival 4. So Rival 4, I think I have super effective moves against everything. You may ask, J-Rose, if it can learn Rock Tomb, why can't it learn Rock Slide? I have no idea, but it can't. And it doesn't one-shot Charmeleon, which sucks. But Aerial Ace cannot miss. So, even though my accuracy is lowered, I can just spam that against the next 3 Pokemon, and we're good. Then when Gyarados comes out, this is where things are a little annoying. Because of Intimidate, I go for Leaf Blade, and it hits twice, and we're all the way at level 40. Everything is looking amazing right now. I mean, other than that little hiccup versus Erika, which was just me not managing my power points, this has been a breeze. And speaking of Erika, let's go. Oh my god, I forgot to heal after the Pokemon Tower. We should have enough power points, but that was a mistake. All right, we're at 52 HP. Ugh. I'm just not playing well recently. We are unfortunately paralyzed turn 1 versus Tangela, but it does basically nothing. And then Vileplume uses Acid. Unfortunately... Oh, never mind. It didn't do enough with the second Acid. I guess it got high roll, low roll. Either way, we will take those all day, every day. Giga Drain in this case, it's interesting because gaining back HP is so great. However, unlike with Venusaur, we would actually lose base power. So this is a move that I have to think about whether we really want to use it. And of course, for now, that would be a mistake. So I'm going to go do some shopping. This is also a good time to point out that Sceptile is going to have a very different matchup versus Koga than Venusaur did. Against Koga, remember, we were able to put his Pokemon to sleep and then just boost all day. We can't do that, and we have a type disadvantage, and there is no move we can really learn to be super effective against Koga's levitating poison Pokemon. While Sceptile can learn both Dig, which is only base 60 power, and Earthquake, which in this game is given out by Giovanni 3, so we actually can't get it right now, although in Gen 1 we could, but I'm going off on a really not relevant tangent. The point I was trying to make is that would only be good against Muck, not the coughing and wheezing. For these reasons, I try to battle Rival 5 first, but I'm only 6 levels higher. Rock Tomb is a 2-shot, Pidgeot then goes for Feather Dance. This is a big problem because most of my moves are physical moves. We get a clutch crit, but now what are we going to do against Charizard? Rock Tomb would be a 2-shot, which isn't very good. And then we miss. It's going for Scary Face, which is nice. Flamethrower does a ton of damage. And yeah, this is bad. This is really bad. Feather Dance was the worst thing, but we want a 1-shot Charizard. And that won't happen. I could try again to see what would happen without Feather Dance. But I'm going to tell you right now, I don't see this happening without a 1-shot on Charizard. So, Rock Tomb, okay. Wing Attack is fine, but look how much damage it did. And it's not even a 2-shot to Pidgeot. Yeah, this isn't... And then Quick Attack. So I can't even see what the run would be like if we got past Pidgeot, because our defense is so bad, we are so frail, we can't get by Pidgeot. So the only thing I think that makes sense at this point, sadly, is to battle these trainers. You can see they give tons of experience points per Pokemon, and they're relatively low level. They usually take only 1 or 2 hits. So I'm going to have to beat a bunch of these trainers just to have a shot. And this was definitely something that Venusaur, although it was slow, it wasn't as big a problem because we could put things to sleep. The inability to do that, combined with our poor defenses, at least this section of the game is going to be way, way harder. After battling both the Fighting Dojo as well as all the trainers in Koga's gym, because, well, those trainers will go away once I beat Koga, so I need to make sure that I beat them. I am now 10 levels higher. It is doing more damage, Wing Attack's doing a little less, and we make it to Charizard. The question is, all right, nice, we're at level 48. Do we 1-shot? We do. Okay, that's good. That's part 1. Now I can go Aerial Ace. You can see I moved my moves around. Unfortunately, I'm paralyzed. I may need to go Lumberry here. That's really bad. Alakazam, I went for Leaf Blade, but it went for Future Sight and Calm Mind. All right, this is maybe fine. The final Pokemon is Gyarados. Once we're hit by the Future Sight, oh, it failed. Okay, Bite. Darn, we're paralyzed. Bite. Okay, no, stop this. All right, and we're an Overgrow. Doesn't 1-shot. No, Dragon Rage. Okay, that was really close. That was really, really close. We probably, with a little bit of luck, have this right now. We need 3 Rock Tombs to hit, so, all right, Wing Attack. Oh, gosh. Well, that's not the luck we need. Let's try that again. It is important to note that we are trying to stack 3 Rock Tombs together, and that already introduces a lot of resets. See? Right away, we got Rock Tomb Miss and then Feather Dance. I don't know what the % chance is of victory here, so I may have to train even more. Hopefully we have this. So Rock Tomb, Wing Attack, all right, 74. Okay, this is looking all right. 77 HP, it's a little less than last time. Please hit, nice. And it 1-shots, very good. Now, I forgot to equip the Lumberry, which is really dumb. And, oh gosh, all I had to do is equip Lumberry. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. And now Alakazam, Future Sight. Of course, I'm paralyzed because I forgot to equip. I could just equip Cherry Berry. I don't even have to equip Lumberry. Well, is this going to hit now, by the way? Yep, it does. And Dragon Rage, Leaf Blade, and yeah, all right. Well, that was winnable. Well, turns out the reason I didn't equip Cherry Berry is somehow I have a bunch of berries. I actually don't have a Cherry Berry. I pick up all the berries I know about, but I used it against Lieutenant Surge. That's what happened. I forgot. I used it against probably one of the trainers in Surge's gym. I didn't even think about this. Ah, that's annoying. Well, thankfully, I didn't have to go out and get another one. This was some bad planning on my part. We just needed a little bit of better luck. So we're just going to speed through this battle because really, it all comes down to, of all things, execute. Can you believe that? But Stun Spore has a 25% chance to miss. And now that it has missed, I can go for Aerial Ace twice. I mean, why risk a Leaf Blade for some reason? And the Intimidate is annoying. It is really annoying, but 2 Leaf Blades is going to knock out Gyarados. It goes for Dragon Rage. I get hit by Future Sight, and oh wow, crit Overgrow. So that was frustrating, and definitely me not thinking about potential for... Actually, I'm going to go heal here. There is, fun fact, there's a Hyper Potion here, so I can just use that. My power points are otherwise fine. But as I was saying before, I rudely interrupted myself. I'll be real with you guys. Sometimes I really get on myself for not foreseeing things. This was actually a really weird interaction. I didn't think Execute would just spam Stun Spore every time. I didn't. That is something that it would not do in Gen 1, and it wouldn't even work nowadays. So that's something that now that I know that, I would do something different. But obviously, with the information I had, which was 0, it seemed like the right call. It's not a big deal, though. We got it. Now, Giovanni 2 isn't as free as he was last time because Nidorino, we don't really have anything good, and Poison Point or Poison Sting could poison me, and that would actually be really bad. We do have a berry for that. And actually, all right, I don't know. I think Leaf Blade does contact damage. So we could, yeah, Poison Point against Nidoqueen. So that's something that could affect us. We should, I actually don't know if we're going to be fine. Because, all right, that crit just helped immensely. So probably should have used the Pecha Berry there. But still first try victory. But as you can see, we've gone from every battle being trivial to a lot of these battles being quite stressful and difficult. Now, I could go and battle Sabrina, which I might do, but I wanted to see how I would do against Koga at level 49. The best move I have is Leaf Blade. And once I'm hit by a smoke screen, I can switch to Aerial Ace, and it's not enough to double up. I might want to go battle Sabrina right now. That might be a much easier matchup. And that's exactly what I do. Very rare is Sabrina. Actually, if we'd skipped Erika, she would have been the 4th gym leader. Even 5th is very atypical, but I think this should be fine. I'm going to go Aerial Ace, and it actually one-shots Kadabra. Venomoth. Why did I go Rock Tomb? What am I thinking? Why am I going Rock Tomb? Aerial Ace is superior. I don't know what I was thinking there. That was just bizarre. As my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Protagonist, Jaden Yuki, would say, gotta get your game on. And in case you're saying, J-Rose, no, that's not what Jaden Yuki would say. That's what the theme song says. You're wrong because A, he says it all the time, and B, he actually sings the theme song in one of the episodes. I am a Yu-Gi-Oh! GX aficionado. Anyway, this battle actually ended up being pretty easy because once I used, Aerial Ace, the move I didn't for whatever reason use against Venomoth, we had a pretty easy time. Unfortunately, we didn't gain very many levels, and we don't get a badge boost. Those are still a thing, but you only get those from odd-numbered gyms. This is an even-numbered gym. In theory, I could go battle Blaine, but in practice, that would probably go terribly for reasons you will see in just a second that you probably already know because we talked about them in the Venusaur run, but I digress. Okay, so we're at 3 hours, 24 minutes, which actually isn't terrible, but we are definitely starting to hemorrhage time here. So I do go Leaf Blade, and this time we get the crit in one-shot Coughing. Great, I'm at level 52 now. So against Muck, I have to go Leaf Blade, goes Acid Armor, so now I really have to go Leaf Blade. It goes Toxic. I have the Pecha Berry because I didn't use it. Hey, smart move, J-Rose. But then I get crit. I am an Overgrow, but ooh, nice crit. So that will be, oh, another potion. So yeah, it's going to be a 3-shot, and that means this is not possible. We would need Overgrow to 2-shot, and then I don't know what happened. I don't even know why I'm trying this again, because I don't even see the pathway to victory here, right? So it is a 1-shot without a crit, so we can get to Muck consistently. But at this point, yeah, I don't even know what we do. I mean, Acid Armor sucks, but it's not as if I have a good physical move. So I still have the Pecha Berry this time for Sludge, but we put it right within range to heal every time. Without a critical hit, which I guess isn't super unlikely. Whoa, wait a minute, I'm an Overgrow, and it's still not enough with Overgrow. It's a 5-shot, so, gosh. I'm going to battle him again, but I have to think. This is not going to be a victory. I have to think. And as I battle Koga again, I thought to one of my other favorite childhood franchises, Dragon Ball Z and Goku, what would he say? Just hit it really hard. And so that is what I did. I just used the power of friendship and the heart of the cards. I mean, that's Yu-Gi-Oh! But with that, I was able to muster a little bit more power and beat Koga. Of course, it helps that I used all my rare candies and I'm now at level 60. Also, fun fact for the actual ears out there, Goku never says that, to my knowledge. Nail says it in not Dragon Ball Z, but Dragon Ball Z Abridged. And he doesn't even say that. He says, have you tried hitting it harder? And then Piccolo says, you need to hit them really hard, to which Gohan responds, that's something like my dad would say. Anyway, yeah, I you know, is it surprising I like all this kind of stuff? I mean, I play Pokemon for a living. Of course, these are the types of things I'm interested in and think about. Anyway, we have beaten Koga, but we've used the rare candies early, which is not a great sign. We're already at level 60. Keep in mind, Feraligatr beat the entire game, once I realized Substitute was great, at level 64. And for those of you wondering why I don't just use Substitute now, I don't see how that would have helped at this point. I need all my moves. I want to be clear, after Venusaur, I really knew how good Substitute was. I just know that once you teach it via Move Tutor, you can't reteach it, and I don't want to get rid of these moves prematurely. That might make things even worse. However, as we battle Blaine, maybe it actually would help, but we'll see. It's definitely something I'm thinking about. So we're able to one-shot with a crit Growlithe. We've already lost one stage of attack. All right, it is a one-shot against Ponyta. That's nice. And it's a two-shot. I'm not surprised. Fire Blast, yeah. And then I go for Leaf Blade here. Unfortunately, oh, actually, that's great. Leaf Blade's a two-shot. Okay, that's really helpful information because now I go for Leaf Blade. Ooh, nice crit. Fire Blast misses, but Hyper Potion I think is going to spoil the victory here. Leaf Blade, Fire Blast, yeah. It was a little too good to be true. I think we can maybe figure out a way to make this all work, but Leaf Blade is going to be used against Blaine. It's so funny, right? Like, we have all these really useful moves. Again, cannot get Earthquake. Dig would be a slight power boost, but I don't think it actually would even make that much sense. Oh, I was burned. Okay, well, now I have to reset. I don't think it would make that much sense at this point for a bunch of reasons. One, I might need Rock Tomb for Charizard later, so I don't want to delete that. In fact, I can actually, do I not have, yeah, Rostberry. Never use those. I actually get to use all the berries in this run. Nice. But as I was saying before, again, I rudely interrupted myself. I just don't think it's worth it. I am starting to have a little bit of bad luck with my Rock Tomb misses. I'm not resetting because I'm testing things, and also, okay, so that was something I wanted to test. If I'm in Overgrow earlier, that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's what I was thinking. Maybe I want to be in Overgrow earlier. And, I mean, it did decent damage, but yeah, the fact they all have Fire Blast is really bad. Well, after losing a bunch more times, I realized I just have to level up, so I'm at level 62 now. And I have now taught Dig. That's right. I have gone all in on this battle. I also remembered you can actually buy Brick Break in this game, so it's not as big a deal. And the big advantage is that Dig, even though it's only 10 base power higher, it doesn't miss. Unless I can actually drop, which I don't. And so that means I can easily one-shot both Growlithe and Ponyta every time, making it cleanly to Rapidash. And then against Rapidash, that's one Fire Blast down if I have to stall. So that's, oh, well, that sucks. But that is something that if we don't get crit, we can do in theory is stall out Arcanine. I mean, it's not a great strat, but it is a strat. And in fact, it actually goes for takedown, which could have missed. So that maybe could have worked. Let's do this again. I think this is battle 5 that I've shown. These have not been going well, but you can see with Dig, and this is the truth. In battles, the further you can make it consistently, the more likely you are to discover a strategy. In some runs, it's so inconsistent at every Pokemon, it's really annoying. Thankfully, it's consistent to Rapidash. But, alright, do we get a miss? No. Not that I need one. And then I can go for Leaf Blade here, and then I should probably go for Dig. I don't. Why, J-Rose? Why? Why? Why are you not thinking? Ah. So frustrating. You know, I need to stop streaming these attempts. That's the truth. I used to be so on the ball. I'm sure people will look back at all my old videos and be, yeah, really, you were on the ball. But lately, I've been watching my footage and I'm just so frustrated. I don't know how you guys deal with it. I can't deal with it. Anyway, all right, bye Growlithe, bye Ponyta. And there was no reason. Just use Dig. I mean, like, what are you? Okay, so Dig against Rapidash. Very good. Fire Blast, burn. And so one of the trainers, I think, burned me and I forgot to unequip the Rostberry. Or did I just forget to equip it? No, I just forgot to equip it. That actually is not a mistake I'm super mad about. Forgetting to save after equipping a berry is common. That's just forgetting a small thing. All right, please be the final battle. I'm starting to get really annoyed. Not because even the battle's difficult, just because I should have made it to Arcanine, and I think we had it that last battle, or 2 battles ago. Hey, this has really been difficult, though. Okay, so, yes, dig, very good. Excellent. Oh, crit. All right, well, we definitely have this battle now, right? So, I'm going to go for dig. That's 1 Fire Blast. I use dig. That's 2 Fire Blasts. And now, wait, that may have been the wrong call. But I wasn't... now what? Leaf Blade? Yeah, actually... All right, past J-Rose, I am not as mad at you because... What do I even do there? Like... Yeah, no, seriously, what do I even do here? I don't really see the play because unless I'm basically praying for a 15% miss, which it's something I can do, but that's a little sad at this point in the game. Oh, gosh. I don't really... Also, it'd be nice if Dig just one-shot Rapidash. If I level up a little bit more, and I realize that a level or 2 more, I don't get hit by that Fire Blast. And now... Gosh, what do I even do? All right, 1 Fire Blast, Dig, 2 Fire Blasts. Yeah, okay. Well, I think I have to level up more. I don't see another way. Rather than slowly battling trainers, I decided to use a rare candy just to see if we could win. And, I mean, I think you know what's about to happen here. I one-shot Growlithe and Ponyta. Yeah, of course I do. But the big thing is I one-shot Rapidash, and... Oh, I got a crit. Huh. Well... I don't know if I would have or not, but what is important is this time against Arcanine, Dig plus Overgrow Leaf Blade is enough to beat Arcanine at level 63. Guys, I don't know if Sceptile is going to be the best grass starter. I'm starting to have my doubts. I am pressing, what is it, F to doubt or X to doubt? I'm pressing all the keys of the keyboard which correspond to doubting, because this has been quite a slog. At least Giovanni 3 should be fairly easy. We're going to go Leaf Blade against Rhyhorn. That's good. And now against Nidoqueen, Dig is super effective. Unfortunately, I have to worry about Poison Points, and we don't get Poison Pointed or Paralyzed. I then go for Leaf Blade just because it's a little faster. Actually, Leaf Blade did just as much as Dig. Then we get Poison Pointed, of course. Now, Nidoking should be one-shot because Nidoqueen's actually more defensive, and then Dugtrio will easily outspeed in one-shot. So after we knock out this Rhyhorn, I don't know why it's not a Rhydon, but who cares? We have made it, I should point out, at a level higher than for Alligator, to the hardest part of the game. Not past it, to it. That's not good. Dare I say, that's bad. Now, we've battled variants of Rival 6 a lot, but with higher levels, our Rock Tomb is getting severely underpowered at this point, and it's such a big move. I have a really bad feeling about this battle, but maybe I'm being a little overly scared. Let's see. First things first, we have Pidgeot. I go for Rock Tomb. Actually, that's pretty decent. Wing Attack, all right, does a lot, and then Leaf Blade will knock it out. Okay, and we're at almost level 66. Now, so close. And then Scary Face. All right, well, that's good. All these battles later, we're still using Aerial Ace, Knockout Execute, and, Calm Mind, that's annoying, so Leaf Blade won't do as much. Actually, does more than enough. And then Disable would have been bad. Thankfully, that missed. Rhyhorn, we then go for Leaf Blade. And the final Pokemon is Gyarados. Once again, very lucky it comes out last because Intimidate is so frustrating, but we get a clutch crit. And as it turns out, I was overly scared. This was a fairly easy first try victory. And we actually could have just gotten just a tiny bit more experience points. Probably would have made this battle even safer. So as we make our way to the Elite Four, I am thinking about Substitute. I know I bring it up a lot, but I'm thinking about it. And I'm wondering if I teach it, what move do I get rid of? How can we use it? Substitute is a lot more effective when you have a move like Sleep Powder or Leech Seed, which obviously we didn't have in that case. But it's far more effective with something to combo with it. I'm sure you guys are wondering why no leftovers. I brought this up in the water Pokemon video. I will tell you, leftovers requires you to catch 30 Pokemon and get the item finder. No, it is not under where Snorlax is. You need the item finder. And because it's so slow to get 30 Pokemon, it's almost never worth it, I would think. As we save in front of the Elite Four, sadly, it's very clear Sceptile will be the slowest of the 5 Pokemon we've done so far, and slower than Venusaur. But maybe we can keep it close. The best thing we can do now is just figure out what strategy we need against each Elite Four member, and that starts with the Ice-type trainer, Lorelei. Okay, so we go for Leaf Blade and it one-shots. That's exactly what we want to see. Perfect. Next comes out Slowbro and Leaf Blade one-shots, albeit with a crit. So we'll just keep that in mind. This is the one I'm most scared of. And, well, if I get crits, this whole thing is going to be really easy. Now, against Jinx, I go for Rock Tomb, and it doesn't one-shot. Jinx goes for Lovely Kiss, but I've Lumberry because I have played this too many times, and I knew what would happen. And then we get another crit. Is that like 3 crits? What's going on? Well, don't need a crit here. That was deceptively easy. We'll have to show another Lorelei battle. I have a feeling we're going to have a little bit more difficulty if we don't get every crit. Now, for Bruno, we actually have the perfect moveset because we can go Leaf Blade and then, Aerial Ace. Gyro's Aerial Ace. They have low, there you go. They have really high special defense and not as great defense. So, see? You know, always listen to your future self, Gyros. He's really smart. Oh, wait, past Gyros, watch out. Bruno might actually... No, past Gyros! No, you can't lose to Bruno! Come on, past Gyros, I believe in you. Yes, past Gyros, what a crit! Let's go! Yes. All right, now all that's left is Onyx. Wow, past Gyros really clutched that out. I feel like I have a bit of a parasocial relationship with past Gyros. I talk to him, but he never ever replies. It's frustrating. I have been a Twitch subscriber of his since the beginning, has never acknowledged me. Actually, I think he has. I don't actually think that's true. I think he has mentioned future Gyros before, but he could mention me a bit more. I am, by far, the biggest reason for his success. Anyway, finally we delete Dig. That got a lot more use than I thought for Dragon Claw, because, yeah, Agatha's gonna be horrible. I have no good moves. Dragon Claw is a powerful special attack and about as good as it gets. I have Aerial Ace for Double Team, so we can go Dragon Claw, there's Double Team, and then Aerial Ace. Now Arbok lowers my attack, hence Dragon Claw. Sludge Bomb, ooh, that did a lot. All right, Gengar, we gotta go for Dragon Claw. Okay. Yeah. That's not good. We really should have lost to Bruno, too. This is, what's that opposite word of good? Past Gyros? No, nothing? Yeah, it's bad. But we got so much luck getting to Agatha. The questions I have is what happens when we don't get crits? Well, we got another one. I mean, I know it's an increased critical hit chance, but like, this is getting a little silly. And then against Slowbro, oh my god, can we just stop getting crits? Finally, we don't get one to Lapras, and the Lumberry heals my confusion, which is good, but in the battle previous to this, Jinx actually froze me and I had to reset. And it looks like Rock Tomb in this case is a range. And then against Bruno, this time around, I'm a little bit smarter. I go for Aerial Ace right away against Hitmonchan. It goes for Rock Tomb, lowers my speed, a couple more Aerial Aces to knock it out. And then Hitmonlee, and then Machamp. It goes for Bulk Up, which is actually really scary. And I get another crit. Okay, I'm just getting super duper lucky. But we have made it back to Agatha, so might as well just see how that goes. All right, so Agatha, we know the strat. Aerial Ace. Actually, oh, I should have gone Dragon Claw Aerial Ace. And then Toxic misses. Okay, so this is all interesting information. Okay, well, nice crit. All right, Arbok here. I'm worried about the Sludge Bomb poison. And I get Sludge Bomb, no poison. But at 77 HP, I just don't see... like, how is this gonna... Yeah, there's no way. Just Sludge Bomb, Sludge Bomb. There's no way. I can't do this. Like, obviously I can, but not with this current strategy. Well, thanks to the rare candy, I have made Bruno and Lorelei actually kind of consistent, which is nice. And I do have a new strategy for Agatha, but it comes with a significant potential drawback. And that is, if I get poisoned, I have a lot of trouble. I do have the Citrus Berry. The extra 30 HP may help me, but not if I get poisoned. And I actually want to see... Okay, here's... Wait. The battle's over. I lost. I'm using an item here. How much does this do? Okay, so it does 90. So that's what I need to know. I need more than... I mean, obviously it's give or take, but I need more than 90 HP. And now I want to see other Pokemon. So Golbat. How much damage do we do to Golbat? And okay, see, look how much damage it does to me with Air Cutter. That's all important information to know. So I don't do that often. I think this is the first time I've ever done that, and it was really useful to just... Obviously, I can't use items in this run, so the battle was over, but to see how much damage it would do to me, sure, I could use a damage calculator, but that was quicker. All right, the only thing I can really do at this point is level up. I am going to try Substitute, but the problem with Substitute versus Agatha is that the Sludge Bombs are so powerful, they're going to knock it out. And while I can set up against the first Gengar, I will have to sacrifice one of my moves. And Dig might be the move I can sacrifice, but it is going to be a cost of losing a move. So leveling up still seems to make sense to me. So let's put it all together and see what happens. I'm at level 74. So we go for Substitute. It's going to go for Double Team, but you can see I no longer have Aerial Ace. I also have taught Mimic. I will show you why I've done that in just a second. That's something I think will be really smart, but it's something that maybe... All right, I need this to help me out here. Come on, help me out here. Come on, there we go. It went for Shadow Punch. So I can Mimic Shadow Punch, and now Shadow Punch, by the way, cannot miss. I have a super effective move, and since I'm behind a Substitute, I don't have lowered attack. So it gets... All right, wait a minute. I'm going to go Rock Tomb. Ooh, nice crit there. That may have just won me the game. But let's see. Is this one shot? Ooh, it just doesn't. No, but the Citrus Berry helps. And ooh, its Citrus Berry took it out of Healing Rage, I think. And then Golbat, I'm going to go Rock Tomb. Remember, this time I don't have my attack lowered. Oh, no. Well, I probably should have gone for Shadow Punch there. Okay, progress. Unfortunately, and you knew this was coming, I do suffer a loss to Bruno. I know, it's so ridiculous. We just miss a damage range and bulk up cross chops enough to knock me out. Ugh, hate that. All right, let's battle Agatha again. And we're going to go Substitute. It's always going to go for Double Team here. And then I'm going to go for Leaf Blade. Wait for... There's the Shadow Punch. Not enough to knock out my Substitute. Confuse Ray doesn't affect me. And so now I have Shadow Punch. Everything's looking good. Arbok, I'm going to go for Leaf Blade. It goes for Sludge Bomb. That's fine. Now, I do have to... I'm going to go Shadow Punch here. Okay, that didn't do as much... Oh, give me a break. The problem is... Maybe I need Earthquake. No, you see... If I had Earthquake instead of Rock Tomb, that would be great for Arbok. But... we need Rock Tomb for Charizard. And although modern Gengar don't have Levitate, the old Gengars do, so I can't just use Earthquake for Gengar, because that would be amazing. We're making it to Agatha pretty consistently, which I like, but I would like to win. That would be nice. And, gosh, I'm going to try to hit one of these Leaf Blades, makes things a little bit easier. And now I would love... It's going to heal. Actually, that's good. It healing here means another Pokemon doesn't get to heal, so that's actually not a bad thing. I would like... Ooh, a Withdraw. Okay, that could be actually really interesting, because I can go for Rock Tomb behind a Substitute, and yeah. Okay, wait, that's huge, because now Golbat doesn't have any... Oh, wait, no, this is fine. I go for Leaf Blade here. Screech, what is going on? Okay, this is insane, guys. There's no way we're going to lose this one, right? I'm going to go for Rock Tomb, Sludge Bomb. Wait, no, this is second Gengar. This is second Gengar. I gotta go for Leaf Blade. No. No. No, 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 no. I don't have a Lumberry because I'm supposed to have Substitute. No, no, no. This can't happen. No. I just every which way I can lose. Finally, after over an hour, we get a win versus Agatha. I abandoned the Mimic Strat. I know it seems so good, but I did have to abandon it. It was just too difficult to get Shadow Punch to be used. And in that time, just things were not going well for me. Unfortunately, I did have to delete Aerial Ace. I opted to keep Dragon Claw because Lance is coming up and my special attack is better than my attack anyway. I do actually get hit by enough Shadow Punches that it breaks my Substitute. And if you're wondering, holy mackerel, Jaros, after that critical hit, how in the world are you going to win? This is the one you win? All the ones you lose, this one you win? Somehow, the answer to that is yes. I don't really know how. For those bad at math, we are not in Overgrow range, by the way. We knock out Arbok, and we're not behind a sub anymore, but Gengar misses with Hypnosis, and Dragon Claw is actually a 2-shot, even with Citrus Berry. Then, we get Rock Tomb, Air Cutter, we're at 25 HP, Dragon Claw, and now all that's left is Haunter, and somewhat shockingly, with a crit though, it's a 1-shot. That is not a consistent battle. I'm celebrating. I'm just so happy to be done with Agatha. But sadly, the run isn't over yet. We have just made it to Lance, and I'm going to need to restore power points because, oh man, did I use like everything in my arsenal there. Unfortunately, it's really tough to find elixirs in this game. Way, way easier in Red and Blue, but Lance... First thing we're going to see about Lance as I get into the battle, and this is kind of an annoying thing, actually. I should open the berry pouch and equip, let's go Lumberry just in case. But yeah, let's talk about the problem with Lance. So Gyarados immediately gets off Intimidate, so I can't just go Rock Tomb here. I go for Substitute, and Bite doesn't do enough to knock it out, which is great. And it is going to be 2 Leaf Blades. If I get myself within Overgrow range, that's actually spectacular. Well, at least against Aerodactyl, which comes out here. I'm not in it, and it's not enough to one-shot, but Scary Face can't hit behind Substitute, and now we have super effective Dragon Claw. I only have 8 of them. It's going to be a 2-shot. Wing Attack, I think we got this, guys. Citrus Berry, this should be fine. Oh, yeah. Okay, so as long as Dragonair doesn't do anything horrific, you know what, I'm just going to go behind a Substitute, Safeguard, and yeah, no, that was overly cautious. We have made it to the champion, finally. Holy mackerel. I feel like a traveler because this has been an ordeal. I wonder if there's any human being who would get that really dumb reference. Oh, we'll see. Let's see. You know what? I've been a little unhinged this run, but what can you do? There's only so many things you can talk about. We've already gone on for an hour and a half. This is a good time to mention that if you've been watching continuously for an hour and a half, thank you. But also maybe get up, stretch your legs, and sit right back down. We're about to battle the champion. Let's go. Pidgeot versus Sceptile. Substitute, because it likes to be trolly. No, of course it goes for Aerial Ace. All right, so Rock Tomb. And it's going to go for Sand Attack. Oh, Aerial Ace. Okay, all right. Early Citrus Berry use. I'm going to go Dragon Claw. Okay, so we have made it to Charizard. I need to see if we one-shot. Okay, we hit. We don't. No, that's... Oh, that's the worst case scenario. No, we don't one-shot. If we were behind a Substitute, this would be fine, but now we're essentially relying on RNG that Pidgeot will try to troll us. This run just never lets up. Turns out Dragon Claw really was the trick, because after one more loss, I actually beat Agatha and make it right back to the champion, so maybe we'll win this time. He sends out Pidgeot, and we just need to get a little bit of luck here. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to go Dragon Claw. No! See, this is what couldn't happen. This is what couldn't happen. I predicted wrong again. I can't. Is it going to one-shot? No, I can't. Maybe this misses. Frick. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know how I keep beating Agatha. I know the battle's probably going very fast from your perspective, but, like, I hope you can kind of tell what's going on. We're just getting, like, kind of decent luck, and we're always winning by, like, the skin of our teeth. Like, it is so close every battle. It feels like red and blue, where I'm just kind of hoping that we get victories. And so far, we've gotten 3 of the last 4. I'm going to skip past Lance because that seems to be extremely consistent. And this is attempt 3 versus the champion. I don't have a good feeling about this. We haven't even made it to the 3rd Pokemon yet. Alrighty, so he leads with Pidgeot. I'm going to go Substitute and Aerial Ace. Of course, you know what? Just got to go Dragon Claw here. Sand every time. Every time. Every time. All right, well, I go Dragon Claw. Now I don't even know what to do. I'm just going to go Rock Tomb here, and it's a range. And we hit. Okay. Well, I'm going to go Leaf Blade. We crits. Okay, well, now I don't have Aerial Ace. I don't even know what to do. Should I Substitute? What do I even do? What's it going to do to me? I'm going to Substitute. I'm going to Substitute Light Screen. Okay. So I go Rock Tomb. Ooh, nice crit. Wow, I can't believe we hit. Sleep Powder. Okay. Dragon Claw. It's just going for Sleep Powder. It's going to heal here. Egg Bomb, by the way, has a 25% chance to miss. And eventually, all right, well, I miss, but Light Screen wears off. Go for Leaf Blade. It doesn't seem to understand how Substitute works, which is really nice, because otherwise this would be really trolly. Of course, the rival is healing at every opportunity, which is super annoying. And you can see how good Dragon Claw is, because it actually 2-shots Executor. Now, Rhydon, I go for Leaf Blade. Wait a minute. We're done? We could have this. Holy, no way. All right, we miss. Thrash. I just got to go for it. I got to go for it. Leaf Blade. Thrash. I'm in Overgrow. No, I'm not in Overgrow. No, it's confused. Yeah, it's something confusion. Let's go. That was awful. That was awful. Oh my. Sceptile, you started out so good. Actually, Grovyle, you were so good. But once it became a Sceptile, the game really punished it. Just not good for FireRed LeafGreen. 70. Oh, I actually forgot to deposit my Pokemon. I think that's the first time I've ever done that before. It's all right. They never got used. And 520 level 76. Yikes, yikes, yikes. That is by far the worst Pokemon we've used. Surely that's going to be the lowest time we get, right? Well, next up is Meganium. And this is a Pokemon I actually was really not looking forward to using. Quick look at Meganium's stats. I think you can kind of see why. Meganium is a bulky Pokemon, and using a bulky Pokemon in a solo run is rough. The best defense in a run like this is never being attacked, and the bigger problem actually isn't Meganium's stats. I can work with those stats, it's its moves. Meganium is kind of the worst of both worlds. While it does get access to Razor Leaf absurdly early, it doesn't really get great support moves, including no Sleep Powder, and its TM moves are not nearly as varied as Sceptile. And so we needed to resort to a strat that costs a ton of time, but for a slow, bulky Pokemon, may be worth it. I don't think it would have been for Sceptile, but the time investment for Meganium, I think, will be worth it. Which is why, in Viridian Forest, I'm starting to catch Pokemon, because yes, we are going for leftovers. Again, guys, catching 30 Pokemon takes a really long time. It is almost never worth it, but looking at the stats and move pool, this to me is the best chance Meganium has of having a decent time. I still think it will be the slowest, but maybe I'm wrong. All right, so at level 12, we battle Brock, and it's actually going to be a little bit easier this time because we have Razor Leaf. So definitely going to one-shot both Pokemon. Having Razor Leaf this early is huge because for the Pokemon that don't resist it, it's a fairly powerful move that crits not too rarely. So in theory, this does give Chikorita and soon-to-be Bayleaf a bit of an advantage over Trico and Bulbasaur. Nothing really interesting happens, so we're going to skip ahead to Misty. Against Misty, it's Harden, then Razor Leaf, then Swift, then Razor Leaf. Easy stuff here. Now, fun fact, Bayleaf actually will get Body Slam, but not until level 31. So we aren't going to have it for Rival 2. Would be amazing if we did, though. This means we have to rely on Tackle. And you can see, I go for Reflect, trying to help out. That is one of the status moves we get, and it really does reduce Gust by a lot. I also go for Poison Powder, which maybe wasn't the best move. Regardless, we do knock out Pidgeotto, and now out comes Charmander. I miss with Razor Leaf, Ember, so I am in Overgrow range, but I miss again. And this is going to be a big problem because it's going to take many, many turns to... actually, I should probably Potion here. But it's going to take many, many turns to knock out Pidgeotto. That gives it so many opportunities to use Sand Attack. I'm going to go Poison Powder turn 1, and I don't get it, so I'm going to reset. I just think because it's going to take so many turns, it losing an eighth of its health every turn, I mean, I think that's actually going to speed things up, I hate to tell you. So we get Gust, which we want to see, and then I go for Reflect. I don't actually think I should use Reflect. Tackle and Razor Leaf does about the same, but I'm going to go for Tackle just to preserve power points, and they're both 95 accurate, so no accuracy increase there. I go for Tackle against Charmander. Reflect wears off. I go for Razor Leaf and Overgrow, but it's not enough. Too bad we don't have leftovers here, right? Now, I want to make something clear. I battled a ton of extra trainers, both in Mount Moon as well as the gym, but it wasn't enough. And so we're going to have to do something I absolutely despise, which is we're going to have to level up in the grass. Now, it isn't as big a time waste as it ordinarily would be, because there are still Pokemon like Mankey that I haven't caught on Route 4. So when I encounter one, I can just throw a Pokeball at it, and, oh, well, I guess, okay, well, you know, if we weaken it enough, I can throw a Pokeball at it, you know, like this level 6 Sandshrew. There we go, see, that's weak. I wish we had Great Balls here, that would make things easier, but hey, look, that's Pokemon number 6. Just 24 more to go. So we're going to both catch Pokemon, and if it's Pokemon we already caught, we're going to knock it out. And hopefully we don't have to spend too long on this, but I just can't see any way of doing this at my current level. I lost a bunch of times at 22, but at level 23, we have a new trick up our sleeve. We're not going to use Poison Powder anymore because, as you'll see, we can use Synthesis. With Synthesis, we're going to gain half our HP back every turn we use it. And so, even though this Pidgeotto got really good luck, a couple of crits, we're able to knock it out and make it to Charmander. We actually get a crit of our own there, and we can knock it out. I think we would have tanked one more Ember. Abra comes out next. It would have been a good chance to use Synthesis, but we don't need it. We won't lose to Rattata. Yeah, see, that did nothing. And then Quick Attack, I am in Overgrow range. That took, and I'm not kidding, 13 minutes between the Pokemon leveling up and the lost battles. I think that was like 20 attempts. Now, to be fair, once we had Synthesis, it was fairly simple, but the fact we needed to get there. Now, you might be saying, J-Rose, shouldn't you have just used the rare candies? And maybe perhaps I should have, but I did catch 3 Pokemon, and now we have those rare candies for later, because sadly, I don't think this is the last time this Bayleaf, soon-to-be Meganium, is going to struggle. However, as a Bayleaf, I think versus Rival 3, we have a much better matchup. We have Secret Power. We've gotten that before. Unfortunately, Sand Attack's annoying. But with Synthesis, I'm not as worried as I otherwise would be. I use it. Oh, nice. We paralyzed Charmeleon. Wow, my accuracy is bad. But we should be fine. We're at level 29, 2 levels away from Body Slam. Raticate uses Tail Whip. That's fine. All right, maybe less fine. Just attack. There we go. Ah, it didn't one-shot. Starting to get a little worried. Yeah, that's... maybe I'm going to lose. Come on. Ah! Well, that sucked. I shouldn't have lost there. And this next attempt, it goes for Sand Attack again. Why don't you just use Gust? Use Gust and then Smokescreen. What's going on? Holy mackerel. This is... And now I'm burned? All right, well... this is just brutal luck. All right, this time we paralyze it, but again, Sand Attack. Just use Gust. And there, Ember, don't burn. Nice. Oh, miss. Are you kidding me? Growl. All right, it's paralyzed. Ember. Burn. Are you? Oh, my God. No, this is too much for Synthesis to overcome, I think. If it's not a one-shot for each of these Pokemon, I think we lose. Okay, it is. We are an Overgrow. And then Kadabra, we have 5 HP left. No, it outspeeds. Oh, gosh. Well, good news. The next attempt, I don't get the worst luck in the known multiverse. And we win. That should have happened on attempt 1, but oh my gosh. By the way, the Kadabra uses Kinesis. Kinesis! What is with Rival 3 against Bayleaf and just trying to lower my accuracy? Just frustrating. Very frustrating. Now, sadly, I got paralyzed in one of the mandatory battles before Surge. There actually is one in this game. And so I would have been outsped anyway by Voltorb. I wasn't totally worried about what would happen. I actually go for Reflect, which didn't end up working. And I'm losing HP because I keep not attacking. Just the luck today. Oh my god, and Double Team. Thank you, Bayleaf. I'm at level 30, almost Body Slam, and then Raichu. Alright, well this is starting to get really irritating. Like, okay, it's going to be a 3-shot. I'm going to go for... Nope. Alright, let's just go Synthesis. Nope. Alright, well, I'm almost at Overgrow. Okay, this is Overgrow. Alright, finally! Okay, this has just been the worst. I did not anticipate accuracy being such a commodity. Oh, wow. This has been irritating. And this wasn't even the part of the run I was concerned with. That's why I said Bayleaf soon to be Meganium. I thought the Meganium parts were going to be tough. I didn't think the Bayleaf parts would be that bad, but what do I know? Thankfully, Bayleaf didn't have any real troubles getting to Celadon, and you can see I'm going to get Eevee. I also caught a Vulpix. I actually was at some point, I know this is going to be quite a tease, but I don't think I'm going to end up doing this. I was going to do a Johto series of all the pre-evolved Johto Pokemon in FireRed LeafGreen. I ended up doing this instead, but when I was planning that, I did have a route for catching Pokemon. It is faster typically to catch some of them later because you have better Pokeballs, but I have several flowcharts that get me to 30, and getting Pokemon like Eevee or Vulpix/Growlithe is huge because those Pokemon... Actually, see, I'm Meganium with Body Slam now. Really cool. But those Pokemon both have an Evolutionary Stone evolution, so that's really like catching 2 Pokemon each. And you want a lot of those. Pikachu's another one. If you get a Pikachu, it's rare, but if you run into one, that's a great Pokemon. You also may have noticed me, of course, getting the coin case, because you can collect coins really easily, and there you can get an Abra as well as a Clefairy, and that's 3 more Pokemon. Actually, Abra is 4, because you can actually get a Mr. Mime out of it. See, this is the type of stuff you have to plan if you're going to go quick and get 30 Pokemon. Now, unfortunately, I don't have enough experience points to beat all the trainers in Erika's gym and beat Erika. Body Slam just doesn't have enough power points. So we're going to actually leave and go do some other stuff, including battling Giovanni. So you can see I have 6 Pokemon. I have been smart with acquiring and catching Pokemon. This is now we're thinking of because we're getting very close to the point where we can get leftovers. And the quicker you do that, the better it is. You can just see how great Meganium would be with an 1/8 more HP every turn. That would be massive. So I'm going to try to get that as soon as possible. Let's just escape rope out of here. And right now, I actually am going to buy some more coins. This is basically what I'm thinking of. Always thinking about coins and Pokemon. With the money we got from the Rocket Hideout, we get more coins. With the extra coins, it's this one. We can get, yeah, Clefairy, which I needed. And that's fine. I actually, if I have enough coins, I could have gotten a Pinsir, but that's all right. I'm going to just get Abra, and I also, just looking at the TMs and potentially the items, just to see if I could use coins for other things. I don't think they make sense, especially because I have to use leftovers, but worth considering. You can see now me access the box I'd bought in the Magikarp. I have the Clefairy. We also get a Moonstone from inside the Rocket Hideout. You can see I have some Moonstones for Clefable. I also made sure to catch Spearow and trade it to Farfetch, because that's 1 extra Pokemon. Just in case, by the way, I can get... So this is a just in case. If things get really rough and I don't find certain Pokemon, I can go to Cinnabar later and get an Aerodactyl. This is a backup strategy. If I don't need leftovers right away, I think that's actually really dumb because that was part of the flowchart, but I wasn't really thinking. For a grass-type Pokemon like Meganium, Koga is going to be extremely difficult without it. So that was actually just a straight waste of time. But for other Pokemon we would do, it might make sense actually. So you can see I have 16 of the 30 Pokemon. And I'm going to go into Diglett Cave and get one more. Obviously would have loved Dugtrio, but hard to get that. Another place we can get a few more Pokemon is the Pokemon Tower. Of course, we have to battle Rival 4 first. And I'm at level 38, so this is going to be, oh, well, if it misses, it's going to be a little harder, but fairly trivial. I don't know why I went for Razor Leaf there. I don't really need to conserve power points. We do get a Clutch Paralysis. Unfortunately, nothing is a one-shot yet. Execute. Remember how annoying that could be. Ah, puts me to sleep. There's the annoying. And I stay asleep for quite a while. Quite a while. Quite a long while. Eventually, I knock it out, so that just wasted a bunch of time. And now we can knock out... Hey, we actually outspeed the Kadabra. And Gyarados Intimidate, so we're going to actually switch to Razor Leaf. And this is fine. Easy peasy. We can now go up Pokemon Tower. Hopefully, we will catch a Ghastly, Haunter, and Cubone. But that's a little bit up to luck. Ghastly we're going to get. The other two is a little bit more just... If we find them, we find them. Sadly, we did not find them, but a Pokemon that's pretty free to get is Snorlax. He is not holding the leftovers. It's a Chesto Berry. You're thinking of Gold, Silver, Crystal. People always tell me that it's holding leftovers. It's not. But it is asleep, and I have a Great Ball, and so that is another Pokemon caught. And I'm going to show you see, didn't work. I mean, it's not. I mean, I already know it doesn't work, but I have 21 Pokemon. Part of why we can go to Fuchsia... Oh, I didn't want to battle that guy. Part of why we want to go to Fuchsia a little bit early is because if we go to Fuchsia, we get access to the Safari Zone, and the Safari Zone has a lot of Pokemon. By the way, rare candy right here. I don't know if you guys know that, but I do now. Safari Zone's a little RNG. You want Nidorino, Nidorina, and Execute. Those are important Pokemon because they're each 2 Pokemon with evolutionary stones. So with those, theoretically, we would have up to 27. You can see I have a Nidoran female. So I'm trying to get the Nidorino and Nidorina. I've caught a few Pokemon here, but sadly not as many as I would like. I did find Nidorina, so I got Nidoqueen. You don't want to spend too long, but sadly, I am 4 Pokemon short of my goal. I don't usually catch Execute, so I didn't actually buy a Leaf Stone. I should have, but I don't think I had the money at the time, so that actually is 27. Still 3 Pokemon short, so where are we going to get those? Remember, in a solo run, I can't just level them up by sending them into battle, so that does change things. In the end, I have a few backup Pokemon I can go to fly to, such as Route 11 Drowsy. I never go on Route 11, and Drowsy is fairly easy to find. And in this game, you can actually fly to the Pokemon Center near Rock Tunnel and catch a Voltorb. So after that, I had 30 Pokemon. You then should go to Route 11, which is probably why I should have done Drowsy last. That was a mistake. And avoid the trainers, go up the stairs, and talk to this guy. And there you have the item finder. Now here's a better demonstration. I am mashing A. A is being mashed. Nothing is happening. But if I use item finder finds the leftovers buried in the ground. And then we can immediately equip the leftovers. There's actually a second one. Also, we can use a protein. And now Meganium has leftovers. Is that enough to beat Koga? Well, let's see. You may notice I didn't just get leftovers, I got Substitute, since those two blend really well together. So the strat is Substitute, Reflect, and then hope for the best. Coughing is cooperating really nicely with all those smoke screens because the AI does not understand how Substitute works. Muck, however, should be a little smarter, maybe. I actually don't know. Went for Minimize. Yeah, there's Sludge. But with Reflect, it didn't knock out one Substitute. And so we actually can, we're already at full health, go back into Substitute. There's Toxic. So we're slowly gaining our health back. It takes 2 Sludges for 1 Substitute. So we are net positive, and we don't have to worry about getting poisoned. This is looking like a really good strat. Unfortunately, Reflect only lasts 5 turns, but we can restore it. And if it crits, it does knock out in 1 hit, which didn't happen there. It's just something to keep in mind. So So we're at 75 HP. We are missing, but Muck is occasionally not attacking, and we do knock it out. Go into coughing. Remember, our accuracy wasn't lowered. Muck just decided it wanted to raise its own evasion. That's really nice because after we set up another substitute, we can hit coughing every single turn as well as wheezing. Recall, wheezing in this game will not use self-destruct. We actually have to knock it out like a regular Pokemon battle. We do paralyze it though, which is excellent. Koga somehow has full heals. That's cool. We're going to set up our last reflect, hopefully. Sludge takes out my substitute. I'm going to go right back behind one just for safety. Sludge does not knock it out, so we also get 2 hits. Now, I'm a little worried here. What is going to happen? Yeah, Hyper Potion. I can potentially paralyze. It isn't happening, and we're starting to run out. Ooh, Toxic. That's good. We're starting to run out of Body Slam. So I've set up Reflect Substitute once again, and it's at half HP. Eventually, I will get within Overgrow range, although Leftovers does make that a little tricky. We're at 74. We go for Razor Leaf, so it's going to be 2 more hits. Should I chance this? No. Go for Substitute. Don't chance anything. Yeah, Reflect wears off. We should be fine here. You know, I went for it anyway. Ooh, that time it knocked it out. I don't think I should have done that, but actually now I think I'm in Overgrow range. Yeah, I am. I think we could have been a little more aggressive there, but you can see how Leftovers with the right Pokemon can be so effective. Imagine we had Leech Seed. That would have been just the best. Sadly, Meganium doesn't learn that. But Leftovers, it cost us so much time to get, so it's very bad for most Pokemon. Before Meganium, with its specific moveset, maybe, just maybe, could it end up not being the slowest starter Pokemon? Well, let's see. We got a lot more run to go. Rival Fivel will be a huge test for us. He sends out Pidgeot. We have Meganium. We go Substitute. I'm hoping for Sand Attack. I get Wing Attack, and this is a problem because that means I got to go for Reflect. All right, that's fine. I was vulnerable there to a Sand Attack, but it's okay. I'm at half HP, and once again, now it's 2 turns. I didn't mean to go for Razor Leaf, so that was unfortunate. Wanted to go for Body Slam there, but I can go back behind a Substitute. Wing Attack. The fact we know Body Slam is huge. 85 base power attack, 30% chance to paralyze. There was a crit. That's unfortunate. I got to set up Reflect again. I am starting to really lose a bunch of HP, but if I'm behind a Substitute, I can gain it back under the right circumstances. Pidgeot, done. Charizard comes out. Body Slam gets a crit and a paralysis, but this is where Substitute is so huge. Flamethrower for sure would have knocked me out, but behind a Substitute, it doesn't. You don't usually use it this early. Execute, I go right behind that Substitute. I know, there it goes. There's Stun Spore. I know, I'm going to set up Reflect, not for Execute, but just because why not? And since I'm in Overgrow, I go for Razor Leaf, trying to conserve some power points. Now I'm no longer in Overgrow, so I switch back to Body Slam. I think we can one-shot Alakazam. Actually, we outspeed it, which is crazy. Unfortunately, we paralyze it, so it paralyzes us via Synchronize. That gets behind our Substitute, but Intimidate does not. So we can go either for Razor Leaf or Body Slam. I kind of switch between the two, and it looks like Body Slam actually does more damage. Fortunately, I get a flinch, but with Lefty's recovery, I have 82 HP. I may be paralyzed, but that is both Koga and Rival Fivel. 2 really difficult trainers in this challenge we did on our first try. I'm really happy so far, but it's going to get even harder from here. But in case it's not apparent how much time this cost, as we save in front of Giovanni 2 with just 4 gym badges, we're at 3 hours and 41 minutes. This is right around where Swampert was entering the Elite Four, so keep that in mind, just how much slower this is. This is to try and help it compete with Sceptile, but nothing really else, which is why it is such a last resort move. Anyway, the Giovanni 2 battle actually goes really badly. I decide not to use Substitute strats, and I get poisoned. Now, one thing I should mention is I think you can get poisoned behind a Substitute because it's just contact damage, but the other thing I should mention is that by using Substitute so early, that means we don't have other moves that might be super effective. Now, Meganium doesn't have a lot of other moves to use, But that might be another question you have. Why not use Substitute early with other Pokemon? And the answer is, it's usually much faster to use other super effective moves that Meganium doesn't have, so might as well. It's kind of the perfect Pokemon for this exact strategy, but this exact strategy is a very slow strategy. Now, I probably should go and beat Erika. There's really no reason not to at this point, but I don't even need Substitute, I think, for Sabrina. I just go Body Slam on Kadabra. Lucky Supersonic missed. That would have been annoying, but I really think Body Slam is just, yeah, it's just gonna win. Unfortunately, after Barrier, I probably have to swap to Razor Leaf, and that's gonna be a 3-hit KO, but I got a clutch, can't move due to paralysis, and then just a bit later, I got a clutch crit. So it all worked out. Now, Alakazam does outspeed. I do paralyze it, but with Synchronized, that means I'm paralyzed. Psychic does a lot, and if I had been paralyzed, I would have lost. So in that sense, the paralysis was bad, but it didn't end up affecting me. So Sabrina was easy. Probably should go battle Erika now. I almost went to Blaine, by the way. I almost did forget her, as per the J-Rose usual. Now, I did think Body Slam would one-shot. It didn't. Going behind a Substitute here would make things extra safe, but I thought I could just get away with just going Body Slam, Body Slam, Body Slam. It's worked so far. Now out comes Vileplume, and Stun Spore, Acid. We should be fine. Okay. Should be fine. I mean, we're going to be fine. It's just going to take a while, so in the end, Substitute I thought would waste a turn. It would have saved a couple turns. Easy. We don't really need Giga Drain. We saw in the Venusaur run, perhaps we will end up switching to it later on, but right now, Razor Leaf is much better. All right, Blaine rhymes with pain, and I do think this is going to be annoying and difficult. I don't have Light Screen, so I can't make his attacks less good. Also, I can't go for Substitute before Growlithe. Yeah, so what now? Yeah. What now? This is not good. So there's really nothing I can do here. I can't go for Light Screen, and although I can hope for Fire Blast to miss, that's really the only play I have. I mean, crits are nice, but Intimidate will always hit before I can go for Substitute. It's immediate. Oh, we are so low HP, it goes for Stomp. Eventually, it will stop doing that. That's because the AI doesn't realize I'm behind a Substitute, and because Stomp could have KO'd. Also, they all have full heals. I didn't know that. We're probably going to make it to Arcanine. That's pretty funny. Actually, I think we could win. We could theoretically win. If we get a clutch paralysis, oh my god, are we going to win? There's no way. All right, I got to go back on Substitute, but we might be able to stall this out. Oh, I think we just did. I think we just did. I didn't mean to go for Reflect there, although it will help once it runs out of Fire Blast, but I think we just stalled out. Yep, that's crazy. All right, well, this is the luckiest battle. It has to go for Bites. That's so funny. Yeah, we just... Wait, does it Potion? Okay, maybe we didn't. This is going to be a little tricky. I think we should be fine. I go for Reflect. It goes for Bite. I can... just go for Razor Leaf. It goes for Bite. I maybe should have subbed there. All right, well, what do I do? It doesn't do enough. I blew it. I should have gone back behind the Substitute. That was me. I thought I'd do enough damage. You know what? I would have reset anyway because this was so dumb. I mean, seriously, what are the odds of 3 15% misses? That's nuts, but still pretty funny. But again, this isn't Copium. I would have reset and just used rare candies. This was the time to use them. And so I'm going to go behind the Substitute, hoping for a Fire Blast miss. I don't get it. It is kind of important to try that because if we can stay behind a Substitute, actually, this is an interesting strategy. If we consistently almost knock out Growlithe, we can then be behind a Substitute, and that could be super helpful. So it's not going to be consistent. We do one-shot it sometimes because we want to be behind a Substitute. Ooh, Ponyta missed. That's great. As long as we get one miss, that's kind of nice because then we can stay behind a Substitute for either Rapidash or Arcanine. And that's really important because if we're not behind a Substitute... So yeah, we do have to kind of hope for one miss. But with the leftovers, the odds of it getting one miss... I'm not looking for 3 misses. I'm looking for 1 miss. It's not that crazy. Unfortunately... Alright, I'm too weak. I don't know why I went for that. But it didn't miss anyway. But yeah, the idea of being behind Substitute for Arcanine and maybe being able to stall out Fire Blast seems to be the play. All right, well, let's see in this attempt how it goes. So let's go, what do we do? Should I go for Body Slam, just see if it works? You know what? Let's try that. So, all right, this is exactly what we wanted. Now, when it Hyper Potions, we go behind a Substitute. But now we need to one-shot it, which... All right, so that seems like a 25% chance we got the 50-50 roll both times the way we want it to go. Ponyta, unfortunately, does not miss. I think we're just going to knock it out. And I think it's against Rapidash where I want to stall. Nah, just go for Body Slam. That's fine. Okay, so we're at 62 HP. 62 HP for Arcanine. We're double intimidated, which I didn't want. We go behind a Substitute. Ooh, there's the miss. All right, well, I'm going to try to paralyze it. Okay, so that's now 2 Fire Blasts. I have enough for another Substitute, but I won't for a while. There's a second miss. Okay, try to paralyze it. Ooh, Bite. It's going for Bite now because I'm so low HP. 3 misses. All right, well, this is a little absurd, but 3 misses is what I kind of need to win. Now we can go behind another Substitute. My hope was actually it would go for Bite, which is what it did, or Takedown. And see, it doesn't do enough to knock me out, and now it's paralyzed. That was the plan. It full heals, and that means I can go for Razor Leaf. The crit didn't matter, and a lot of luck there. Even 10 levels higher, but you know what? We'll take that. I had a backup plan in mind that would have been really annoying and would have wasted a bunch of time, but it definitely would have worked. I'm glad we didn't have to do that yet, but... It was getting Protect. In the power plant, there's the TM for Protect. And if I'd went and gotten Protect, we for sure would have won. And Protect, Leftovers plus Substitute is a really, really good combination. Like an amazing combination. But the power plant's kind of out of the way. Didn't have to go there yet. Probably will by the time we get to Elite Four. For now, we get to relax with Giovanni number 3. Just for a bit of extra challenge, I decided to go into the battle poisoned. No. I was battling some of the other trainers and accidentally got myself poisoned and wanted to see if I could win. I didn't want to have to leave because that would have wasted a bunch of time. Thankfully, that means that Body Slam from Nidoqueen cannot paralyze me. And if my Body Slam is doing half to both Nidoqueen and Nidoking, with Leftovers, the poison shouldn't be too bad, although a Thrash critical hit makes things a little dicey. Now it comes down to whether or not... I don't need Solar Beam. I mean, great damage, but can't use it. Doug Trio, if it does too much, we lose. Oh, we actually outspeed it. So we win. It's only level 42, so I guess that makes sense. All right, so we have made it all the way to the final few battles. And once again, I have a very, very, very bad feeling about these. Even though you'd think I already have my final strat, I really think Meganium is going... I mean, listen, we're literally using a normal move and a grass move. That's going to be tough against some of the toughest Pokemon, but it's all we've had for a while. There isn't a ton more I can do. Let's see how it goes against Rival 6. All right, so we have Pidgeot versus Meganium. We're going to go Substitute. It goes Wing Attack, and it's not enough to break it. So I can go Reflect. That may help later on. Now we go Substitute again, and for the cost of just 70 HP for now, we're behind a Substitute. We can go 1 Body Slam. Wing Attack isn't enough to break the Substitute. This is huge. Next comes out Charizard. We're still behind the sub. We go, all right, Scary Face. Nice. Love Substitute here. It goes for Scary Face again. And the only thing that's scary is how much we're going to win this battle on our first try. Body Slam, Stun Spore. What a snore, because the AI doesn't understand how Substitute works. I wonder how many generations that's the case. Nice crit versus Alakazam. Rhyhorn, we go for Razor Leaf. And I'm still not exactly sure why Gyarados comes out last and not Rhyhorn, but it does. And I believe Body Slam, we learned, does more damage. Hydro Pump actually will take out the sub, but we can go for Razor Leaf. It's actually going to heal here. Oh, it's not. We're good. Thought it was going to heal. Well, that was fairly easy. Maybe the Elite Four won't be so bad. All right, so Lorelei leads with Dugong. I have Meganium. Razor Leaf does half. And Ice Beam does about a third. And then with Leftovers Recovery, we're actually pretty good. Now comes Slowbro. We go for Razor Leaf, do an overhalf. Ooh, yawn. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. It's going to put me to sleep. I don't remember if I equipped Lumberry here. I usually do. Oh, wait, no, of course I didn't. I've leftover. A bit of a brain fart there. Unfortunately, this means we're likely to lose to Lapras. Oh, we do wake up, but we're confused, and okay. So we're going to have to be behind a substitute for Slowbro. All right, take 2. So this time we're just going to knock out Dugong. Actually, exactly the same as last time. But we go behind a substitute, and then Slowbro goes for Yawn. There we go. Can't hit behind a substitute. And now it's going to go for Yawn again, and we have pretty much full HP for Lapras. I think we're good, but we'll see. We have 171. Razor Leaf doesn't quite do half. Confuse Ray. Perfect. I should go for Body Slam here so that it doesn't heal. Ice Beam will take out my sub. It is going to heal with Citrus. Oh, I missed. That's a bad miss. But I think we're good. No, we're not. Yikes. All right. Well, this is going to be an Overgrow boosted Razor Leaf. So, we're not going to knock it out here. I just have to go for it again. Oh, we will. Nice. Very nice. Now Jinx comes out. Oh, this is actually a little scarier. It's not going to be one shot. Okay, yeah. Jinx is not something... Sorry, I kind of just realized this is going to be harder than I thought. All right, well, I wonder if there's something I can do a bit better. I mean, that miss against Lapras... Ooh, nice crit. That doesn't help too much, but it helps a little bit. We're going to do the same thing with Substitute here. Amnesia, that's actually very annoying. Now I really want a crit. Ice Beam, oh, okay, well this is not very good. It's acting quite differently. I'm going to go Sub again. Yawn, okay, that's what we want to see. That's what we want to see. And now Razor Leaf, Ice Beam, yikes. Okay, let's just Razor Leaf. We knock it out. Because now what I'm thinking is Lapras. I go Substitute here. Nice, it went for Confuse Ray. Okay, perfect. So I go for Razor Leaf. Ooh, another Confuse Ray. And then Razor Leaf, because the Citrus Berry, I made a mistake last time going for Body Slam. The Citrus Berry will take it out of healing range, but into range of knocking it out via Razor Leaf. And now with Jinx, I'm kind of hoping for Lovely Kiss. Whatever. Just go for Body Slam. Oh, well, that works. Little bit lucky, but we're going to get the victory here. It doesn't matter if we can't get past Agatha, and I think that's going to be a massive problem. But first things first, we have to get by Bruno. Bruno has given at least one of these Pokemon trouble. Razor Leaf on Onix, and then against Hitmonchan, I go for Body Slam. Rock Tomb, my speed is lowered, but I think with lefties we should be fine, although after that Sky Uppercut, I might be able to go behind a sub, and then just keep going for Body Slam. Oh yeah, it has counter. That could be pretty bad. We knock out Hitmonchan. I go for Reflect on Hitmonlee. And, oh yeah, it has Brick Break. Are we gonna... Oh my gosh. Critical hit Mega Kick. And... Wow. Okay, we just lost to Hitmonlee. That's not good. Well, after a couple more losses to Lorelei, I realized that this just isn't working. I mean, this time Jinx puts me to sleep, but it's just too hard between the sleep or confusion and then just taking so much damage from ice moves. It just isn't working. We don't have a super effective move, so we're really stuck. I mean, Venusaur, this is why stat boosting moves are so good, but Meganium really is just stuck using regular Body Slam. It's just not doing enough. At this point, I just level up a little bit. I have another idea to get rid of Reflect and teach Protect instead. There are risks to that. I kind of have an idea for Reflect, but in this battle, I actually get reasonably good luck. I make it to Lapras behind the Substitute and then get a crit right away, which allows Lapras to heal, but also allows me to get back behind a Substitute and knock it out. So now for Jinx, I'm behind a Substitute, and that means I have the ability to knock it out with Body Slam before it can do anything. There's a bit of luck, though, there. Now against Bruno, we Razor Leaf Onix as per usual, but this time I'm going to be a little smarter versus Hitmonchan. I'm going to go for Substitute right away. It goes for Rock Tomb. That's not enough to break the Substitute. Then I go for Reflect. That actually won't allow Rock Tomb to break the Substitute either. And then I go Body Slam. Sky Uppercut doesn't break Reflect, so I can go back behind Substitute. I have to use Substitute for Bruno. I just want you all to realize this. And then I don't even knock out Hitmonchan with Body Slam. I have to go back behind a Substitute and then just Body Slam it a bit more. Thankfully, I'm still behind a Substitute for Hitmonlee, but remember, it can break the Reflect with Brick Break. Thankfully, Body Slam is a 2-hit KO, so I knock it out. Now out comes Machamp. Razor Leaf is looking like a 4-hit KO, and its Cross Chop is doing a ton of damage, but I get a really clutch crit, followed by a Cross Chop miss. It has, I believe, a 20% chance to miss. I think it's 80 accuracy. And then the last Onyx will be easy. But this was the trainer I was initially worried about. I have absolutely no plan for Agatha. Like, none whatsoever. What am I even supposed to do? There's no move I have that's good. I mean, I have to also restore my power points. I need more elixirs. Thankfully, I got an extra one because you're just hemorrhaging power points in this run. Yeah, I don't think this is going to go very well, but we'll see how this goes. Gengar, all right, going behind Substitute here just makes sense. So we go behind a Substitute, but it goes for a double team, and we have to rely on Razor Leaf. I can set up Reflect, but that's probably kind of not smart because, yeah, by the time we knock it out, that Reflect is long since going to fade, and Razor Leaf's doing nothing. Also, the fact that this thing, it's only used one double team, but it will eventually use more, is not good. It is going now for Shadow Punch, so maybe it's done. This may be a chance. Oh, it's swapped to the better Gengar. I get a crit there, but this Gengar goes for Sludge Bomb. Probably could have gone for Reflect, and then it heals. I'm going to go for, it outsped in Hypnosis. And, okay, that doesn't do too much. I go behind a Sub, and now I can go for Reflect. Nice, Hypnosis. Thank goodness the AI doesn't understand how this works. And Sludge Bomb now can't knock out a Substitute. Slowly but surely, we're going to knock this thing out, but I don't know if you guys start to see a bit of a problem here, because we only have 11, oh, I'm poisoned. Well, we're done anyway, but we only have 11 power points, and now we're not behind a Substitute. Arbok is out, and yeah, it's over. So over. So very over, and that is my expression. What am I going to do? I really have no idea here. This moveset is just not going to work. Now, usually in these videos, I would show you the next Agatha battle. Why am I showing a Lorelei battle? Because I still can't beat her. This is now, I think, my 5th straight attempt at Lorelei, and I cannot beat her. I keep losing again and again and again. That can't happen. So this entire strategy isn't working. If I'm losing to Lorelei, like if I'm only able to beat her 1 out of every 7 times, that's not enough. We're not going to get enough attempts at Agatha to come up with any sort of great strategy. This, by the way, is the exact reason I don't allow saving in these runs. I have to level up a bunch more, and I even use vitamins. So I'm at level 67. And you can see I have taught Mimic. This was a strategy I was thinking of using with Sceptile. It didn't work. But I think for Meganium, it's going to have to take the place of Reflect, which means Protect, which is something I've been thinking about I can't use. Now, I have decided to go a bit more aggressive here and not use Substitute. The reason for this is trying to take a little bit of advantage of potentially, although it's not going to happen here, some Overgrow. So when that doesn't happen, I then go behind a Substitute, and I think the math has worked out. 66 is less than a third, so I can take out Lapras with a single Razor Leaf. Jinx, though, is where things get really scary. Body Slam isn't quite a one-shot, and yeah, it just doesn't work. Well, I mean, it could work, but that didn't work. I lost 5 more times before I made it to Agatha, but I have made it back. Bruno, thankfully, is pretty easy. Let's see how this goes with Mimic. So remember, I need to wait for it to use Shadow Punch. Nice crit there. Oh, nice Shadow Punch there. So we can Mimic Shadow Punch, and that's huge because with only 5 power points, it's not a lot of Shadow Punches, but it should help. We're actually behind the Substitute so that Arbok can't intimidate us. That's good. Oh, darn. Well, you know what? At the very least, we're going to get to go behind the Substitute again as it full restores, but it'd be nice if that was a 2-shot. I think leveling up more is mandatory. Yeah, no, clearly this is not going to work. And unfortunately, each Sludge Bomb does more than enough to knock out a Substitute. And so I think I have to stop using it. I just go for Body Slam. And thankfully, it doesn't poison me. I'm at a nice amount of health for now. I'm actually going to gain just a little bit more. And I think I got to just go Shadow Punch here. Not enough to knock out Gengar. But Gengar is really bad attack. Its Sludge Bomb's not enough to knock me out. And at 35, now going up to what, 41 or something? 47 HP. I don't know why I said 41, but it doesn't matter. Golbat's not going to knock me out with Air Cutter. I actually do knock it out. I actually think I'm going to win. I think I'm going to win. I think this is enough to one-shot. Okay, well, that is nuts. That is very much skin of my teeth victory, but it is a victory nonetheless. I am still worried, though, about Lance. I don't think Lance provides any sort of reprieve here. I'm not great on PowerPoints, but it's not terrible either. The way PowerPoints work for Mimic is different than Generation 1. You have 10 PowerPoints and then you get 5 for the move you mimic. So it's Gen 1 worked differently. It just overwrote your PowerPoints and then was deducted. So let's say I mimicked Hyper Beam. I would have 5 Hyper Beams and then that would take out from the Mimic PowerPoints. It was bad. Anyway, Gyarados is going to intimidate me. And what do I do? Seriously, what do I do? Substitute? Dragon Rage, not enough. And the leftovers are helpful here. Razor Leaf, okay, so I think the strat is just go behind Substitute and slowly but surely knock it out with Razor Leaf. This is going to take a while because it's, oh, well, not if it crits. Nice, and nice level, great. Okay, Aerodactyl time. I'm going to go, all right, it goes for Wing Attack. It's outspeeding, unsurprisingly, and that did very little. Wing Attack, okay, that doesn't do too much. Nice crit again, but this is the Pokemon I'm worried about, Dragonite. I don't really have a great plan. I'm going to go Sub, it goes Safeguard, that's fine. I can go Body Slam, it goes Wing Attack. Kind of want to see it use Outrage for Mimic, but yeah, I don't even know. Wing Attack, yeah, that does more than 92 damage. Not really sure what you thought was going to happen, but that's pretty much what I expected. We just don't have the moves. I know I keep saying that, but like, what else am I even going to use? Well, in order to help out in multiple regards, both for leveling up and to get some items and stuff that I think might be helpful, we're going to go to the Sevi Islands. I mention this every time I do a FireRed LeafGreen run, but yes, you can just tell Bill, no, I don't want to go with you, and he just chills in the Pokemon Center. And the reason you don't want to go to the Sevi Islands is that you can't fly back. You have to now complete the whole Lost Stell side quest before the game lets you go back. But I need more levels, and there's a rare candy on 2 islands, so I think I just have to do this. I don't see another way. Guys, I can't even beat Lorelei, let alone Lance. And the one thing about doing these on stream is there are lots of smart people who know the game, and if I'm really missing something, they'll recommend stuff. So it's not as if I'm just in tunnel vision. While usually we just talk about random stuff, I am talking to chat and asking if they have any ideas. We're looking at the movesets, doing damage calcs, like we're really trying to figure this all out. But yeah, none of us could really come up with a better moveset than Razor Leaf because we need a bunch of power points, and Body Slam because it's the best move with the accuracy and paralysis chance. After all of that, and I mentioned the rare candy, we are at level 74. That doesn't change things as much as I'd like, and Hail kind of sucks, but we do more damage. I mean, obviously we do more damage. I would like to one-shot the Dugong, but this is better. I mean, the more damage we do, like we talked about the very beginning of the run with Meganium, the best defense is no offense for the opponent. And Hail's actually going to help me out here. Yay, Hail! All right, so now Lapras. I'm not even using Substitute anymore. Oh, I probably should have. That was probably a mistake. I hit myself in Confusion, Ice Beam, yeah, definitely a mistake. Although I'm tanking it way better, and okay, we knock it out. Now Jinx, we might one-shot. We snap out of Confusion, and I don't know. Critical hit, so let's say we did. But there's Protect, we could use that later, but for now, we're good, and I have more elixirs, I got a bunch of stuff. Anyway, we can skip Bruno because that is the one battle I have consistently won after losing the first time, which sucks. Now, how is Agatha going to be now that we're at level 73 plus 2? It rhymed, but I'm not at level 73. So I'm not super worried about the double teams anymore because as long as it goes for Shadow Punch, we're super lucky it's one of the rare moves that can't miss. And thankfully, Mimic also can't miss, so that works out spectacularly. Arbok, we're gonna two-shot, and we even paralyze it. Okay, so we definitely have this battle. I mean, I think these extra levels definitely did a huge... Ooh, that's a ton of damage. And the Citrus takes it out of healing range. And, okay, so this was easy. We didn't even lose any HP. Well, I mean, we did, but We gained it all back. Leftovers, thank you. And yeah, I don't even need to go back behind a substitute. I can just go Body Slam and Haunter. So now, though, is the big test, right? We have beaten Agatha before. We have never beaten Lance. I do like these extra levels. It does seem like it would make this a lot more consistent. And I have 2 max elixirs, which is great, so I don't have to worry about power points. Do I have any moves I might want to use? Do I want to switch to Giga Drain? The issue with Giga Drain is we will not have a Lepa Berry because, of course, we have Leftovers equipped. But I am going to teach both Reflect instead of Mimic. Thank you, Mimic. It's a move tutor move, but we can't use it anymore. And we're going to actually teach Giga Drain both for a little bit of extra power and, more importantly, some extra health. I think it's going to be super helpful. Sevi Island has a PowerPoint max item, so I have 8 out of 8, and that will have to be enough. We have 8 out of 8 plus 15 body slams. Actually, I have more PowerPoint ups, but let's hope it's enough. We're intimidated. Gyarados uses Bite, but we're behind a substitute. I go for Giga Drain. It's doing about a third. Bite still can't knock me out. I go for Body Slam. It's paralyzed. I go for Reflect to set up. I'm still behind the substitute and knock out Gyarados. That's excellent. Aerodactyl comes out. Wing Attack does knock out my substitute. That's not surprising. Giga Drain does decent. Now it goes for Wing Attack plus substitute. But with Giga Drain, actually, I'm going to go for Body Slam here. Ooh, we survive. Or at least I should say the substitute survives. 1 Wing Attack. I set up Reflect. It goes for Scary Face. This couldn't be a better outcome. And we knock it out with Giga Drain and restore our HP to full with Leftovers. So now Body Slam, Safeguard so it can't get paralyzed. Body Slam, it goes for Outrage. Mimic would have been helpful now. I go for Body Slam. It goes for Outrage. Reflect wears off. Outrage is a special move. It is confused, so if it hits itself in confusion, Hyper Beam. But that means it can't heal, and we knock it out with Body Slam. Just the Dragonair to go, and I'm going to go for Substitute just in case. Dragon Rage is fine. I can go for Body Slam. It's doing half. Dragon Rage takes out my first substitute. I go for a second substitute. It goes for Safeguard. That's fine. I go for Giga Drain. Get a little bit of health back. It goes for Dragon Rage. And now I can finish it off. Oh, wait, it's going to heal, of course. I can't finish it off with a Body Slam. We're going to have to repeat this process a little bit more. And eventually we'll finish it off with a Giga Drain. But we can just speed through. Oh, it has Thunder Wave. That's why I used to equip the Lumberry, by the way. But we can speed through, and we have made it to the champion for the very first time. That's really good. But typically, we don't first try Victory the champion. We are using pretty much the same moveset we've been using for like half the run, which is crazy. It's just so optimized, I guess. Do I want to use a different move? Is there even a different move to use? There's no berry that's more helpful than Leftovers. I could teach, though, Light Screen instead of Reflect. I went and got it from the Celadon Mart. I actually think that might make sense because the special moves are more scary than the physical ones. So let's try that. Here is the champion. Let's go. Attempt number 1. We're going to go for Substitute. And we get Aerial Ace. Knocks it out. Although the crit may matter. Let's try it again. Come on. You're bulky. Let's go. We're that bulky. Finally, the bulk is helping us. I go for Body Slam and get a crit. All right. Now out comes Charizard. I'm going to go for Light Screen. It goes for Fire Blast. Now, it's going to take out the sub because of the Aerial Ace. But if we go for sub again, remember, we can stall this out. It goes for Slash. Slash does more damage. The AI is going for Slash. I get a crit. Fire Blast then takes it out because it gets a crit. The Citrus activates, though, so it's not going to heal. I knock it out. That crit was huge by me in the first turn. I go for Body Slam against Alakazam. Thankfully, I don't get paralyzed because it doesn't get paralyzed. Goes for Full Restore. I go for Substitute. I need to be careful here. I can't get paralyzed. I go for Light Screen. It goes for Future Sight. I have set up everything. I go for Body Slam. We get a crit, and that means no paralysis. Executor comes out. Synchronize is gone, so I don't have to worry about paralysis. Egg Bomb does very little. Future Sight, not enough to knock out the Substitute. Oh my god, we got this. We got this. Full Restore doesn't matter. We have this. It's done. It's over. We're going back behind a Substitute because this is over. We just have to Body Slam. Oh, are we going to run out of power points? We have 5 more Body Slams left. It's a little scary. but we're going to have 3 after we knock out Executor. This took a really long time. Rhydon, well, don't have to worry about Body Slam here. No, we don't have to worry. We got Gyarados here. We got Giga Drain. We have enough power points. We did it. We go for Giga Drain. Oh, it does less than I thought. That's okay. We go for Giga Drain again. It goes for Dragon Rage. Meganium gets to show its face as it knocks out the Gyarados. And finally, just missing out on leveling up, which is actually good for our purposes. At level 76, it has become a champion. And it took a very, very, very long time to do it. How long, in fact? Well, as it turns out, the order of the runs happened to be the order of how easy they would be. Chat picked the order, not me. 6 hours, 48 minutes. That is lengthy. So I think y'all can agree that the leftover strategy helped, but ultimately, Meganium could not overcome its inherent flaws. And it's really funny looking at the overall rankings that the 3 water Pokemon were so close to one another, and yet the 3 grass Pokemon are all an hour apart. Thus far, due to Meganium, Johto by far has the worst starters, while I would say Kanto, between Venusaur's very solid grass time and Blastoise's pretty solid. In fact, many of you had Blastoise as the number 1, which is very arguable. Kanto has the best starters so far. But we still have one more video to make. The video about the fire starters. So if you want to see that, let me know. Until then, this has been an epic saga, and it's taken forever. I don't think the fire video is going to be this long, hopefully. But I'll see you guys all soon. Take care.